Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone this fine Monday, or good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are around the world. In fact, maybe even this fine Tuesday for those over more in the oceanic way. How was everyone's weekend? How's everyone been getting on? We're ready, hopefully, for a nice fun stream. We're back with IFK Mariehamn. Last time out, we played 2 friendlies because I move at the pace of a turtle. And there is some news. There is some news that's coming pretty big off the bat. But before we get there, let's do some hellos. So tonight we have Quadmo in. Quadmo went to an awful comedy gig on Friday. Interestingly, I also went to that same awful comedy gig, and by awful, I mean it was really good. A fantastic gig out in Hitchin, in lovely leafy Hertfordshire. A fabulous evening. We've got Wilco in. Good evening, Wilco and Levi. Rick is in over on YouTube, as is Harry Glaves, who's doing a Moneyball save with Blackburn Rovers. The glorious, the wonderful Adam on the break is in. As is, who else have we got in? We've got Paradox over on YouTube. We've got Catch22. Thank you very much for the subscription, sire. Hundermin has come in and straight away redeemed a channel point subscription. So we're going to probably be starting this stream with a little bit of Only Connect. We'll get to that in a couple of seconds, but that's a fantastic start, isn't it? We have Kushti. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in. How are you? RJ's in. Good evening, sire. How are you? Got No Gamers in. Amin is in as well. FMFC is in. My word, there's loads in. And Maldine has come in. Paradox says, holy shit, Hitchin. My parents live near there. Yes, so I'm a Hertfordshire lad at large. Whilst I'm no longer in Hertfordshire technically, I'm just on the outskirts now. That is very much my stomping ground. Huge thank you as well, Largy24 for a follow. Good evening, you've arrived just in time. Johnson is in. Finland mentioned. Indeed, I will apologise to you now, Johnson. My pronunciations are going to be atrocious. But we'll get there, that's for sure. So how am I doing? I'm doing fantastic. We've had a well, I say I'm doing fantastic. We've had a pretty rubbish weekend. The Cleveland Browns lost pretty damn heavily yesterday after a week off. The Greece sadly fell to England on Thursday evening. That was a bit of a disappointment. But what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, or something like that. I don't think that really applies to football. But let's just head over. I'm going to catch you guys up on what we're doing currently with Mariehamn, and a couple of major changes. Then we're going to go over and we're going to play a round of Only Connect. So for those of you guys who are on Twitch, we have channel redeems now. We have 1 round of Only Connect. We have 1 round of Guess the Player. That what we've been doing last week, but they're now available that way. So we can play them when people actually want to, rather than me forcing them down your throat after a break. So let's head on over. Okay. Oh, I've tried to be vaguely professional and done a little thing. It's not the best in the world, but it's better than what we had for a transition before. So there we go. So here we are. It's the 4th of January 2024. And we have a little bit of an issue. So whilst you're away, I have played 1 game. And in that time, our completely fit squad has lost Pedro Mercado for ankle ligaments. Maciej Ajala has picked up a groin strain. Leo Anderson has sprained his knee ligaments. And Oskari Salonen has twisted his ankle. Now that seems quite unfortunate. And the part of the reason why is because technically this isn't the same save. So those who were on the stream last Wednesday, we did have a couple of little issues with the stream lagging when we process in between games or when we go on holiday or anything like that. So I've made a couple of changes on the back end. I've removed some of the cores from processing Football Manager, boring technical stuff, which just slows down the processing a little bit. And subsequently, whilst I was doing some checks, it does mean that the processing slows down quite a lot. So I've started again with slightly fewer leagues loaded in detail. So let's just go over here and we'll go to the detail level, let you know. So we've brought it down to just 15 countries loaded. We've got Australia, Canada, Denmark, England, Finland, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Russia, Spain, Sweden, USA. And we've only got the well, Norway should have been on that. That should have been all seen in competitive matches. Oh, I can't change that. That's weird. Well, we'll deal with that anyway. So we've only got full detail going on those, so that we can get through some stuff a little bit first, and then if we see that the processing speed is all good and fine and well, we don't have any lagging during the course of the stream, we can then just kind of up it as the streams go on. So that means that those 2 friendlies that we played previously no longer happened. Instead, we played a friendly earlier on today where we lost another player to injury. We won 2-0. But what we've done is I've kept what we worked on previously. Everything is still set up exactly the same. And where we were at the end of the last save was that we'd been playing with this 3-2 formation. A little bit like this, I would say. Just as we were trying to get used to our in possession shape, see if we can get our players doing the kind of things we want. And as we got to the end of the last one, we decided to pull back and move into something a little bit more traditional, which is going to look a little bit like that. And then we're just going to tuck it in. So we've actually got a proper formation, a real formation, something that people might play. So let me just go back and try and change this for you. We wanted our inverted winger on the left to stay wider. That is going to be the amazing Robin Sid. Let's take a look at Robin Sid here. Robin Sid can kind of do all the attacking things we want, which is amazing. We naturally don't have a great amount of quality here in a team expected to battle relegation in Finland's top division. We have an inverted winger. This gentleman here is going to be Sebastian Dahlstrom, who's probably our best player overall. Again, really, really good physical profile. He's able to do all those kind of possession-y things. We're hoping that he's going to be our main player dictating play from deep. So what we look with Dahlstrom is that we've asked him to take more risks and to play more direct. He's going to ping the balls forward whilst everyone else kind of gets forward and attacks and does everything that we can. We did have a little bit of a problem with Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed played a couple of games and been a little bit rubbish. I think a large part of that comes from the fact that he doesn't really have good first touch. He doesn't really have good movement. So despite looking like quite a promising young player, he's got a lot to work with. All the players have a lot to work on, to be fair. And then Larson we wanted us pressing forward. So the idea is that Sid, we won't be playing Sid there in the next game because of injuries, but Sid will be the player who'll mainly play here. He'll stay wider, then he'll drift in and he'll control things and create chances from that area, just kind of in the hole. Whilst Dahlstrom will be there to build things up from a slightly deeper area. Our right wing back, we probably just needs to be there to have some width. And then we'll have our strikers pressing forward and an attacking midfielder to kind of rush the box. That's where we're at anyway. But otherwise, nothing else has changed. We've just literally set everything up exactly the same. Now let's head on over and do only connect. Now RJ, just to let you know, what we'll do is we'll bank the guest the player for the next break, if that's okay with you, so that we don't spunk them all right at the beginning of the stream. So let's head on over to only connect, and I'll explain the rules for those of you who are along. Only Connect is based on a British daytime game show. You get a series of clues of things that are connected to one another. And the idea is you see one clue at a time, one after the other, after the other, after the other. You start to get an idea of what the clue might be. The earlier you can work it out, the better. You can score more points. Those points technically don't actually result in anything other than pride, but pride is definitely worth it, that's for sure. Now, when you see the photos, you're not told who the player is. That's going to be for you to work out, as well as working the link. So work together as chat. You know, if you know who it is, shout out, and you guys can then kind of work together what we've got going on. So let's pick this up here. Here's the widget, and we'll start with our first clue. This should be a pretty obvious one for those of a certain age. Shock horror, Mustermann comes in with some kind of reference to the 90s or early 2000s. So, do we have any idea? Okay. Ilby, yes, I do see YouTube chat. As you can see, I was introducing at the moment, and we'll be going through this here, and then I will get back through chat as we go. We've got quite a few people in. It's brilliant to see you all, but we will get there once upon a time. So Interpol has come in, and he said Delap. Rory Delap says largely 24 as well. That is indeed the Stoke legend, Rory Delap. And Ramster is in. Good evening, sire. I do apologise. As I say, with the chat, I will catch up in due course. I do apologise. So Crodmo has come in and said, people whose sons are Premier League players. That is a fine guess. A fine guess. It's wrong, but it is a fine guess. So we have more people. Yep, Liam's, Rory Delap, beautiful Kushti as well, Hung Min. You guys are completely on it there. So shall we move? We'll move to the next clue now. And here we have someone perhaps even more 90s if it's possible. Is it players who made Boaz Myhill choose to give away a corner rather than a throw-in? Now that is some phenomenal knowledge, Adam. The amazing clip of Boaz Myhill having the ball on his left foot, being closed down by the big-eared Rory Delap, and rather than try and kick it out and get the ball as far away as possible, he just gave up and put it out for a corner. So Kushti has said, is that Mustafa, ex-Villa? He is indeed called Mustafa, and he is indeed ex-Villa. Who've we got that? Ilby, ain't that Hadji? That is indeed Hadji. Well done. The most beautiful goatee that I believe has ever existed in football. I know that's a bold take, but I stand by it. Look at that lovely thinning up to the lips, the exceptionally fine line running down sideburns. So let's have a look here. Ain't that Hadji? It won't let me type his name on Twitch. Won't let you type Hadji. Oh, indeed it won't. Interesting. Now that is something. I wonder. There we go. I've managed to choose a player that Twitch believes is something relatively offensive, so I do apologise there. It is blocked by auto-mod. We've let that all come through now. So can anyone work out a clue between Mustafa Hadji and Rory Delap? Doesn't look like we've got anything coming through there. There we go. Wilco's Hadji as well. I wonder what it is that it doesn't like. I'm going to have to do some searching for that. Is it players whose names are considered relatively offensive by Twitch? It isn't. Rory Delap apparently is absolutely fine. Let's move this on and head on to the next clue. See if we can work out the link with the next one. This is probably as close to as on topic a clue as we can get. It's something that has some small minor relevance to things that's going on nowadays. So Liam Reynolds comes through with, is it midfielders that played in the Midlands? That's a fair shout, obviously, yes. Delap in Stoke, Hadji at Coventry and Villa. A fine guess. It's not that, but it's a good shout indeed. So in America, that can be a reference to residents of countries we've recently invaded. Well, there we go. Something to learn there. Hello, mate. Learned about the Mustermann skin recently. Now I'm joining with videos. Much discussed. Thank you, Roger. So welcome along, Roger. We're in the middle of an Only Connect game. So Hung Min comes in and guesses Joe Hart. It is indeed. Have they all done shampoo ads? I mean, Mustafa Hadji had the hair for a shampoo ad. You could see him doing like a Timotei or something, doing the whole, it'll be glorious, absolutely glorious. It isn't that, unfortunately. Joe Hart quite famously did advertise Head and Shoulders with that somewhat less spectacular head of hair of his. No, it's not a bad head of hair. I don't dare want to suggest that at all. But yeah, it's not necessarily one that you associate with shampoo. So have they all done shampoo ads? We've had that. Players to assist a goal at Villa Park. A fine guess. It isn't at all. And I have no clue. Can't wait to discover what it is. Right, let's move on to the final clue. This might tie it together. This is possibly... I do apologise. Oh, I haven't changed the picture down in the bottom right, so we've got a little bit of Michael Elise. Imagine that Michael Elise in the bottom right there is in fact Joe Hart. So, are they in the same region of England? They are not. They are all linked to the same player, or they played with the same player. That player might no longer be a player. If they played alongside Rory Delap and Mustafa Hadji, they might have retired from playing, but they might be relevant nonetheless. They often get mistaken for one another. Yes. I mean, Joe Hart's a bit of a twat and Mikel Arteta's a bit of a twat, so plausible. No, I didn't say that, of course not. Absolutely baffled by that one, says Adam. That's fair. I think we have made this perhaps a little too difficult to kick off the stream with, but we say it's a little bit too difficult to kick off the stream with. We do have the correct answer in chat. Crodmo has come through. They have all played with former England senior men's team manager Lee Carsley. So, yeah, are they Peter Crouch's ex-teammates? I mean, that's a pretty reasonable guess as well, to be fair. But no, they played with Lee Carsley. Lee Carsley played at Derby County with Rory Delap between 98 and 99. He then moved to Coventry, where he played with Mustafa Hadji for a season. He spent many years at Everton, and during that time, Mikel Arteta was there between 2005. Well, they crossed over between 2005 and 2008. I think Arteta was at Everton till about 2013. Carsley joined originally in like 2001. And he spent a year at Birmingham City with Joe Hart whilst Joe Hart was on loan. So yes, a little bit of a tricky one for today. But you guys got it so easily last week. We need to give you a little bit of a challenge, don't we? At what point did he play with Michael Elise, Slaji? Indeed. I slightly missed one of my pictures. Something I need to add a little bit more QC in. So let's get back to the game, or let's just actually play the game. It's not even a case of getting back to it. And so we're straight in. Obviously, I moved forward until the beginning of a friendly. With the injuries that we've got, this guy Day, he's out on loan. These four, they're quite a way off in terms of injury recovery. Those with the orange. So we have a bench of just 6 players. A reminder, or to let those who haven't been in before know, we have nobody in the reserve squad. We have nobody in the under-20 squad. And the first transfer window is closed. So we have a total squad size of 21. And that's what we've got to run with until like June or July when the middle transfer window will open. So having done one game off stream, part of what that's allowed me to do was to play the game really slowly and watch in a little bit more detail so that we can kind of rattle through these a little bit quicker. I still want to watch them because I still need to learn about my players. We've got very little information about them. We're up against a team that has a manager named Perez. He's not got as fine hair as Mikel Arteta, though. My word, the stuff of nightmares, isn't he? So yeah, we'll have it on key highlights, and we'll just see how things go. And whilst the game kicks off, chance just to catch up a little bit. So do bear me one moment. I'm having to scroll back a little there, so I do apologise. Jason, good evening, sir. Kalispera indeed. I hope you are well. Lovely to see you in. It's how are you this fine evening? Have you recovered from Thursday's result? Oh, well, you're Cypriot, aren't you? Not Greek. Sorry, I do apologise. How did Cyprus get on over this break? So here we go. We've got, good chance there for Salama. Really should have been a goal, to be fair. So Liam, you're starting a Slavia Prague save on Tuesday. Nice. Get back from my holiday in Prague on Monday. Any advice? Don't do anything that I would do. As has been shown by my previous streams and the wonderful Match of the Day series, I know nothing. No, so on a more serious note, I mean, just take it piece by piece. Give your players as much chance as they can to impress so that you can kind of use the eye test and get a feel for how your players are. And then you'll start to drill down and just take it step by step. What do they do? What should they do in possession? What should they do out of possession? What should they do in transition? What stats show that? And just build slowly from there. So there seems to be some positive bits there. We will make all the substitutions that we can, which will include Poncelas up there. We will bring on Suleiman and Alvanen. Wrighton's looking a little bit tired. So we currently have 2 left backs and a defensive midfielder in defence. So we might not have a great second half, to be fair. And then we're going to try... Willie Nunez will play off the wing, and we'll have him be a little bit more aggressive. He's got a bit of pace, so we can run with that. I mean, it's all relative, isn't it? So who knows how much pace is a bit of pace, to be fair. And we can see we've been pretty good in terms of establishing in the opposition half. Stats-wise, we have had a lot of chances, about 1.1 XG, despite only having the 1 highlight. Nunez with the header, nice easy save. So star wipe, yes, we've got the star wipe going. Evening, by the way, evening largely, I do apologise. Dill is in. Good evening, sir. How are you, my man? Robin Sid as an advanced playmaker will be my choice. Indeed, I certainly, in terms of what I want him to do, Sid.
Well, here's to you, Mr. Robin Sid. Mika loves you more than you will know. It's alone.
Yeah, so that happened. I reckon that Sid is a player that I want things to go through. Not necessarily going to choose him as a playmaker. I don't necessarily want us to force the ball to him. But that is something we will be looking at over the course of the season to kind of get a feel for whether he can actually handle that. And a feeling for the standard of opposition as well. Because whilst he might be good for us, we are expected to be relegated or fight for relegation. I do apologise. So we might find that he's good, but only relatively. So Ilby, good evening. Love to see Game Through X, fantastic. And that has reminded me, I have this really awful tendency of forgetting to tell people on things like Discord that I'm live, or on the newfangled Blue Sky. So let me just do that for a second and pretend that I remembered all along. It has literally been every stream so far. I've got to the end of it. I've opened up Discord, and there we go. At which point I should probably do a couple of things. I do apologise that I'm a little bit slow on this, but the wonderful Dill 40k is in. That means we need to send a shout out because he is wonderful. Such a beautiful, relaxed environment, really builds the game world out as well. So if you're not following, go and follow him. And that's 2-0. Well, hey, we don't have a song for Lundberg because he's probably going to be our third choice striker in a 1-striker system. But that was not too bad. We doing decent down the right-hand side there. Swings it in. Lundberg with the header. Matilla obviously made that a little bit easy. Came for a ball he really wasn't going to get. So let me see whether that's worked. I've just checked. There we go. So talking of the Discord is there if you'd like to join. Obviously, I do apologise to you guys on YouTube. The commands obviously don't come up for you that are easy to do. However, the link is in the description for the stream if you want to come along and join. And there we go, 3-0, Jaden Reed. I didn't even see that. So do I see the YouTube chat? I do indeed see the YouTube chat. So whilst we've only got the Twitch chat on screen because terms of service with Twitch, it's streamed in both places. We're not technically allowed to have chat from other platforms viewable on stream, which is a little bit weird. And I'm not going to argue. I'm a nobody. No point in trying to do anything there. So let's see. We've finally caught up to Only Connect, and there we go. That was a reasonably decent 2-0 win. We've managed to dominate the ball. We're not really forcing. We're not forcing a possession style. We're not forcing direct style. But Moose and Salama, they were one of the few teams as a friendly that were available that would have a fee associated with them, which is a very rubbish way of asserting whether a team is any good at. But they recently got relegated from the 3rd division. So it's not as if that's a result against great opposition, let's be fair. And so now we're going to risk something. When we've gone on holiday in the past, it has tended to go a little bit funny with the frames being missed. So let me know if it starts to get a little bit jagged or whether the changes have worked. Yeah, so we've finally caught up on the Only Connect. I can finally get back to what's happening. Perhaps one day we will see Musterman in real life at Mariehamn. Armenio, I've been to Mariehamn. I should probably dig out the old photos whilst I was in the So I did a working holiday out there, helping provide clothes that were set. Let me start that sentence again. So I did a working holiday out there in working with Emmaus, and we're working on just sending bundles of clothing out all the way to Benin, as well as raising awareness for Western Sahara and the issues surrounding the ongoing occupation and their right to self-determination. So I've been to Mariehamn. That's part of the reason why it's one of the teams chosen, because it's a beautiful, beautiful place. I love it. I have great fondness there. And apparently I'm malfunctioning, which is probably fair. It's a nice tune, that one. Well, hey, we've got approval for Mr. Robinson. We have 2 other songs hidden away as our goalkeeper goes down injured. But we will save them for when they are relevant. This does mean that it looks like we've got Machado back from injury, which is good. Salonen is still 3 days away, so he won't be involved in this game. Riikonen will stay on the bench just in case we need him, because we do want to try and get these guys up to fitness as much as we possibly can. But we should be there to go through the next game. Right, where are we? Seems okay so far. No problem during loading. Marvellous. Was there any other Finnish team you considered doing a save with? Thinking about maybe starting one with Hacker myself. Hacker is a fine choice. So Mariehamn were always the team that I was gravitating towards there, because I have that connection, and that kind of helps a little bit. But Hacker are a great team. Obviously FC Jazz, Prodmo's mentioned over on Twitch, great choice. Where are Jazz? Have they gone all the way down? They are. They're all the way down in the Ikonen. So FC Jazz could be a brilliant choice. Bringing them back up to the big time. And what a fantastic name they have as well. And so I don't know how much these kind of things matter to you, but I'm a big fan of taking over teams that you might realistically take over. So for Jazz, they've changed their manager, so you could go, right, okay, let's just imagine that never happened. Whereas if you were to take over from, say, Arsene Wenger 12 years into his Arsenal tenure, that would have felt weird. So Jazz looked like a really good suggestion. Thank you very much, Crudmo. So did you go via Stockholm to Mariehamn? I did indeed. I went to Stockholm, then a bus, then the Viking line out. So the ferry that I caught out was at about 6 p.m. in the evening. There's a nice, might have been a little bit later than that. But it's a nice long one, a really slow ferry, so that you could have an overnight thing. And we were right in the middle of summer, so it was like 11 p.m. the sun would set, about 2 a.m. the sun would rise. It was glorious. I sat out there on the deck with a book in hand, going past all these lovely little islands, whilst it's still light outside at about 10:30, 11 p.m. at night, going for a very quick sleep, getting back up again, and watching the sun rise out on the sea. That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I was a big fan of that. Everything about the experience was just so beautiful. Jazz is a shout, to be fair, just not sure I've got the time to build them up. Fair enough. I mean, there's what? We've got 4 months until FM25 is there. You've got plenty of time. I have faith in you to do that. But no, I completely understand. I personally prefer teams a little bit higher up. I just think it's a little bit more fun competing near the top, essentially. So being able to start somewhere near or nearabouts. So I'm generally a big fan of second division teams, particularly because then you've got to get through the fight of getting up there. Oh, we're playing FC Jazz. I am definitely paying attention. I set up these friendlies as well. I should really know these things. 1 year plus before FM26. We have time, says RJ. A fair point. Now, you know, we still don't really know much about FM25 to say one way or the other. I'm still really excited for when the end of January hits. So we're expecting more updates the end of January, and that to be the beginning of the game release period news thing. So they've essentially just transported what they were going to do back 3 months. So I'm really excited to see what that's going to be like. hopefully we can finally have something tangible to look at. You should put a real picture of Mika. That in-game generated one is too scary. I mean, I can't disagree with you. I love how awful it is. It's just so bad. It's a thing of beauty. It really, really is. I still can't quite get my head around just how awful it is, how gaunt he looks. And there's another injury. Sid is down now. So, it kind of half. We can see from the positions it's been quite even, really. We're generally a good way of being able to properly tell momentum is from the position map, being able to see how established you are in the half and how established they are. Let's have a look at that pass map, see where we're playing. So things are going out wide. We can see we've got a massive gap here. So that's a lovely diamond on the right, to be fair. Not so much of a diamond on the left there, but that's leaving Larson a little bit isolated. So we might want to try and narrow things up a little bit in the second half. But let's be positive. These guys aren't necessarily the best players in the world. We don't break their morale just because they're drawing at half time to a third division side. Raikkonen, he's back to full fitness tomorrow. We'll risk it. The best thing to do when you're in the middle of an injury crisis before the season has started is to risk more injuries. Let's tuck Dahlstrom in. We'll pop Enquist, who is a left back there, but we won't ask him to take more risks. That's not the kind of player that he is. We'll have Fonsal on for Patu, Suleiman on for Okereke. We have nobody else that can play on the right there. Well, we do have Machado comes in. We're going to try Nunes up front this time. And Lundberg. Neither Lundberg or Nunes can play any roles other than striker. So, we're just going to have to accept that players are out of position. This is largely about fitness as much as anything else, but there we go. So I was in Stockholm in June, took a couple-hour boat ride through the archipelago, and it's absolutely stunning. It really is, isn't it? So was the holiday mainly in Stockholm, and then you just went out for like a little day excursion, or were you doing kind of like a hopping tour around Scandinavia? So RJ, he looks like a vampire who didn't drink blood for decades. He really does. Poor man, needs to be looked after a little bit more. Let's have a look here. So this highlight is a great indicator of what I can only politely describe as rubbish football from both teams. But here's Dahlstrom. Gets there, and that's going to be a penalty. And Dahlstrom's down injured. He doesn't have a little indicator, so that's okay. Considering we have no subs left. Willie! That's our 16-year-old Willie. You gotta love our 16-year-old Willie. I am so going on a list, aren't I? Oh dear. I mean, it's a penalty. You can't get too excited over that. And I assume it's actually Villa, or Willa, but he will be known as Willie from here on. We don't have a song for Willie yet, unfortunately. So I did try a couple of things over the weekend that I just wasn't quite happy with. I also had a try at doing something with Hard Rock Hallelujah to have the real Finnish connection going. But again, couldn't quite get it to work. We were going to do it with Viklov Holding Arena. It just didn't properly scan. Here we go, into the last 30 seconds. Jazz with the corner, the keeper is up. Lundberg heads it out, he's back in. Oh, good block there. I thought there was a chance that we might be able to spank it from 60 yards. Willie was a little shy. He shrunk a bit there. So there we go. A reasonable game. Main issue is that Sid has taken a knock. So let's see how bad that is. 2 to 3 days. We can survive with that. We can certainly survive with that. And so I'm going to be keen as much as possible to try and holiday between as often as we can so that we can avoid having to be too admin heavy, especially when we can't do anything in terms of transfers right now. When we come to later on in the game and when there's more games on and we might need to be a little bit more reactive, we will do. But things like training, things like scouting, they've all been delegated out. Because if there's one thing I've learned so far, it's that multitasking is difficult. My fiance is Swedish. That makes sense. We had a friend's wedding to go in Gothenburg, then over to Stockholm for a few days. I'd never been there before, and then back to Malmo. Such a lovely country. Now that is a lovely trip from the sounds of things. I mean, to do that is what. So you've got the wedding, which is nice, and go and see Gothenburg, then head out to Stockholm, then to Malmo. Make a real journey of it. Sounds amazing. The Willy Wonka song, perhaps, quite possibly. That is a good idea. I think Lama mentioned the Zootons. I think it's Lama. It might be an FM console. He will, he won't. You will, you won't. And that's what we were trying to work with, but just couldn't quite get it to feel right. Archie, he's going to be fine. He is indeed. So here we go, into the next game. He's just done a fitness test. He's only orange, that's fine. Salonen now, he can play 45 minutes, which is great. Ojala is still 7 days away. Anderson is still 5 weeks away. Riikonen comes back in there. We'll put Machado into the starting lineup so that we can get him closer to fitness there. We need to bring... Let's see how Fonsel gets playing in a more attacking role. He's not a particularly attacking role. We've got a lot of these defensive midfielders, defenders who aren't particularly good in the air, aren't particularly fast, can't really pass. So we'll see how one of them gets on, because ultimately we might find out that that playing someone in a position that we're not sure on actually turns out to be marvellous and really works. Let's reward Willie with a start. Partly so I can try Adam Larson out wide. He is someone who can play out on the left, so maybe we just see what happens there in that regards. And that can be our second team. So our second team, our next game. Well, words are not wording, that's for sure. Guja, thank you very much for the follow. No need to oops, that's absolutely fine. The amount of times I've assumed I'm following people and then realised I haven't, and then had to go, oh, oops. So completely get that, my dude. How are you this evening, sire? Let's give a shout out to the wonderful, glorious. That is assuming that I remember how to do it. There we go. You would think by now I'd have got the hang of it. So, voila. If you haven't checked out the Guja already, he's amazing. A wonderful... Where are you managing at the moment? Can I remember? I was in your stream, like, literally only about a week ago. My memory's gone. So, Jason, we can't make up a chant for Ujala. The Kumbaya song, replacing Kumbaya with Ujala. That could work. That could definitely work. Awesome. Very good, thank you. Excited to see the plans for the FM Con progress. Right, that's something to mention as well, isn't it? So last week, I was on the FM Show podcast, and we were talking about the possibility of an FM convention. Something that Tony Jameson is really looking to drive. To make an idea of getting some kind of get-together that is appropriate for an international audience. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, both in terms of finding out more information about, that was a good chance there for Sal Parsalo. So if something you're interested in finding out more information about, or even something you think that you can help out with, head on over to the FM Show on YouTube, and you should be able to get a link to their podcast there. I don't have it to hand, unfortunately, to their Discord, to hand. I don't have that to hand, but from there you can find out all you need to know and, yeah, get involved. One of the things we're really keen for is for it to be accessible to everyone, so we're looking at trying, hopefully, to have it somewhere near an international airport, looking at lots of different people that could be potentially invited from across the spectrum. So we're not talking about this isn't a FM creators convention as we go 1-0 down, and it does appear that Sao Paulo have had the better of the game so far. I'm going to blame it currently on our slacking Robin Sid. There we go. Dahlstrom loses out there. Yakinen in the box. That kind of feel like Riikonen could have made a claim on that cross before it got there, but he didn't. So there we go. So this isn't an FM creator convention. This is an FM convention, looking at people all the way across the spectrum of Football Manager. We want people who will be maybe involved with SI, people who have gone to work in football in real life and just fans of the game, just everywhere that we can to find different types of panels and things to bring people together, certain events and stalls. So it's very much early days. A lot of ideas are being thrown out there. If you'd like to find out more, head on over to the FM Show pod. So let's have a look here. We've been rubbish, quite frankly. Let's see, is it a case of we're losing the ball with certain people? Passes. So Patu has been quite costly. Adam Larson has been, but that you expect that from the guy who's going to be creative. Same here with Dahlstrom. That's 7 waylaid passes. That's perfectly fine. But generally speaking, Patu is probably the only one who's been a concern in that regard, and he's the only one who's created a chance. We can see that Willie Nunes has only received 5 passes though, so we've struggled in that respect. From a Sao Paulo standpoint, what we are seeing is that they're holding the ball deep quite easily, but we've got these 2 guys, Alexi Yanez and Rupa Cantola, who seem to be dictating things. I'm guessing they're the central midfield. There we go. Yanez and Cantola there. So we probably need to be looking to get a bit more pressure there. And so our ability to apply pressure in midfield is clearly a concern. Maybe that's a part of the players that we've got available to us. So let's run those changes again. We don't want Enquist trying to be smart with it. We're going to bring Olawale on there, Lundberg on there, Sid on for Larson. We're tucking Dahlstrom inside. We're going to run with Akira Chaos Suleiman. We've got Sananen can come on, in fact, so Dahlstrom can have some rest. Suleiman on for Patut. And Akira in defensive positions. We'll take off Raikkonen. Machado is a little bit less tired than Raikkonen is, and obviously we're really keen to get him as much game time as possible. And because Raikkonen missed a game, we'll do that. Out of possession, let's just ask them to press a bit more. Do we have tackle harder on? There we go. Be aggressive in a friendly. Be aggressive in a friendly. Break their legs. We could not. We count. Yes, indeed. Yes. And Crudmo, I'd go to that. Count me in. Good man. So yeah. Do you Discord? I don't know. I mean, it is desktop based. Oh, there's Lundberg with a chance. So you know, it's quite easy to use. I say that I'm rubbish at using it myself. I will tend to go offline and close it down when I'm playing FM, so that if I'm recording something, I don't get the notification sounds or I don't get distracted, and then I forget to open it up again, which says a lot about me, really, doesn't it? Okay, a friendly red card. Exactly, that's what we want. We want to. Let's just push things up in terms of positive. We've had a couple. We've had double the chances in the second half than we had in the first half. But this is a little bit concerning in that respect. And see that, so a 4-3-3 might be an issue for us. We can keep that in mind. This is a learning exercise, but it is a bit of a way. There we go. That pulls one back. Robin Sid, you know what's coming.
Well, here's to you, Mr. Robinson. Mika loves you more than you will know. It's alone.
God, I love that. I wanted to put some visuals to it. I was going to get that scene from The Graduate where Mrs. Robinson seduces Benjamin, but I thought it'd be a little bit creepy putting Robin Sid's face on Mrs. Robinson's body and then having Dustin Hoffman fondle his tit. And there we go. That the parody lasted barely any point at all. That's an amazing free kick. Beautiful stuff from Heinonen. Crudmo, I prefer the Lemonheads version. How dare you? That is the Lemonheads version with some improved vocals, right? Improved, yeah, we'll go with that. Definitely improved. So with the positive mentality, we definitely improved in the second half. that free kick that we conceded straight away is a little bit annoying, but also there's only so much you can prepare for a free kick of that quality, so I don't mind that too much. My word, is that who I think it is? We have a llama in. We have a llama and we have a console in. My word. More people than I can shout out at once. So, I mean, you guys are all following llama. I am absolutely certain of that. And if you're not, you're mad, because you should be. And you should go over and follow him right now. For those guys over on Twitch, you've got a lovely little thing appearing above the chat at the top. Press that heart, because that man is a genius. I don't know if there's someone with a wider breadth of knowledge of 90s and 2000s football. And I know, Quadmo, you're going to claim that you do. So hush, no, this is all about llama right now. I am doing well, sir. How are you? So I think I just threw up on that image in my head, Jeff. Why? I am pleased that I imparted that upon you. So, transfer window opens on Wednesday. That was our last friendly, by the way. We now head into the Liga Cup, which should be good fun. The transfer window opens, but we've got it disabled, so that won't matter at all. Quadmo, real name of ill. Well, I mean, I have said my name on videos, on pod, on streams, so yeah, we can go with that. Mustermann, I really wish there were coaches in real life who introduced their principles using songs. Maybe there are. I mean, there are many ways to convey a message, and we don't get to see what goes on behind the scenes in the training grounds. So yeah, maybe that's the way that information is actually transmitted, and rather than try to explain like hybrid pressing and what players need to do, Mikel Arteta expresses it in form of song. We need a captain, and Sebastian Dahlstrom would be a fine choice. And I'm happy for our goalkeeper to be the vice captain. We can't do anything about strength of squad, so I don't care about that. There we go. Yeah, cool. Jaden Reed needs to speak swear. He doesn't speak a word of it, so he can definitely go on that course. Yep, they've got potential. That's great to know. I'm not too fussed about set piece coach. We'll leave that to former Liverpool legend, I use that term lightly, Daniel Sherland. We currently do not have a loan manager. I don't want a loan manager. We don't have any players to send out on loan. We have a technical director who sorts out coaching courses. So there we go. Nothing majorly important there. Evening, sir, by the way. Indeed, evening, FM console. How are you, sir? How are you? No, I bow to FM Llama. Might give him a run for his money, though. Very gracious of you, Cobma. I feel bad now for slanging you out like that. Gizmo Bob, indeed, because the mailman always delivers. So that's a reference to the FM Llama's streams at the moment. His save is called the Mailman. He is only managing teams who have never won a major trophy in their life, or even a minor trophy, really, if to be fair. And he cannot leave the club until he's delivered them success. So that's the idea. He's going around. He's starting at Curzon Ashton, which is where he is at the moment. And the plan is to be able to deliver there and then move on up and hopefully secure every trophy that has ever existed. Allegedly. We've got an international. Sebastian Dahlstrom, capped twice by Finland prior to this. But he is back in the squad. It's a while ago since I believe he had his international debut. I think it does say here. Wasn't there normally a thing that said when they made their debut? If we pop into his biography, it might do. Right, he made his debut in 2015. He's played in Finland. That's nice to know. Nothing about his international career, so that's a shame. I have a feeling when I looked it up, it was a little while ago, like quite a few years, and never quite made it back into the squad again. But someone might be able to correct me on that respect. So hello, sir. How are we doing, Ryan? Good evening, sir. I'm doing very well. How are you, RJ? The feeling when you realise that Mustermann is not his real name. It is not indeed. It is neither my first nor my surname. Disappointing, isn't it? It's a reference to Jens Lehmann. When he wouldn't allow Football Manager to use his name, and so they called him Jens Mustermann. That's what it is. There we go. So I've forgotten most of what I once knew. It's mainly guesswork and vague memories these days. You do yourself a disservice. You absolutely do yourself a disservice. You called out Andy Sinton the other day and that's okay. But exactly. Right, so heading into this, our first game is against Kyrgyzstan, who are in the... again, for the Finns, I do apologise so much for this. In the Valkosliga, they are expected to struggle even more than us. They are amongst the relegation favourites. So this should be quite an even game. Team predicted to finish 11th as the team predicted to finish 10th. We are going to focus hopefully on being secure to begin with. We'll do some work on corners as well there. Although I should probably leave that to my assistant manager as well, really, considering we're getting him to do all the rest of the training. Here we go. So, Hungry Man, for a man who hired thieves for training, I think Arteta sings a lot during training. I do as well. I think he's probably insufferable in every single step of his life, to be fair. And come on, Villarreal, kick Real Madrid and Barca out of top one. As that's what's going on. They are indeed. They're top of La Liga in January now. So there we go. 3 points ahead of Atleti, Real Madrid and Barcelona. That's looked like a... Okay, Barca do have a game in hand though. So that does look like a pretty cracking season going on over there. Obviously, so with Finland, the game starts in December. So a lot of those games were calculated before we even actually started. So I don't really know how that impacts things, but it's nice to see, isn't it? So what have we got with our team here? So is the name Mustermann derived from the name on German dummy IDs and passports? It isn't, but well, that is what SI were going for. Obviously, they took what is known as a placeholder name. So like Joe Blogs or John Doe, and a name that is used when you don't know the person's identity. Oh, marvellous. At first, I was happy that Dahlstrom was selected for international duty. I didn't realise that meant that he was not going to be available for our very first game. Oh, we really are. The first few months, I think, are going to be really, really tricky for us. We can't strengthen the squad whatsoever, and we don't really have much balance. We have one right back, and he's not very good. We have one left back. He's also not very good. We have a whole load of these defenders, defensive midfielders who also aren't particularly good. And that's kind of the team in almost its entirety. I'm not going to put Ajalo on the bench because I might then accidentally bring him on. So we're going to run with just the 7 subs for this game. Let's see how we go for our first competitive game. We will push the detail level up so that we can actually kind of get a feeling for what's going on. We will... Let's pop that positive. Let's see if we can learn our lessons a little bit. Let's be a little bit more aggressive in that respect as well. We've got to give squad numbers as well. We can auto number that. I have no attachment to these players yet to really want to worry about who's going to get what number. Nothing can go wrong with that, right? So, hands in pockets. I want to be impressed. We can see they're playing also a 3-4-3. We can see that. Looks like they haven't been particularly active in their preseason though. So we might have a little bit of a fitness advantage. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of a fitness advantage there. And let's tell people that we have faith. I'm not going to say anything to the attackers. Everyone, we've got loads of people happy. Let's not ruin that moment. So pop that down to extended so we can see what's going on. So I do apologise that I am a little bit behind once again with chat. It's not a reference to Jens Lehmann, it's Oliver Kahn. You're right indeed, I do apologise. Thank you, Cradmo. I'm glad you said this. I thought I was losing my mind. Look, I'm clearly losing my mind. That's all we can say about that. It doesn't know the history of his own name. I know, it's a shame, isn't it? Disgraceful. And we have another injury. Oh, he's not injured. Twisted knee, my arse. Twisted arse, my knee? Who knows? Mr. Mustermann, hope you have a good stream. Good evening, Simon. I hope you're well. I hope you are still about. I do apologise that I've taken a little while to get there to you. As you can see, I'm a little bit behind with chat, so we are currently in our first competitive game of this save. So your timing is marvellous. And that, yeah, they gave him Jens. Oh, great strike from Reed. That would have been a lovely, lovely goal. Wasn't to be. So yeah, they gave him Jens as a reference to Jens Lehmann, indeed. He was Bayern's goalie, indeed. He is genuinely fucking loopy. Let's see if you can do marginally better than AC Moneyball, says A's off tackles. We'll see. We're going to be much more pragmatic and flexible with this. Now that I've had a little bit of experience doing this streaming log, it's difficult to tell given with how I'm struggling to string sentences together so far. We can start to do things a little bit more active, try and focus a little bit more on the game as we go along. So hopefully we will see something a bit more active and enticing there. So we're currently with this 3-4-3, slightly asymmetric in the attacking midfield area. One inverted winger out wide, one attacking midfielder in the central right spot. Otherwise, the tactical instructions are pretty vanilla. We might as well just bring this up here. We play a little bit narrow. We counter press. And we move the line up, and we're quite aggressive there. So we are very much leaving it to the players who may not necessarily have the greatest ability to kind of figure some things out, but also so we can learn what players are good at and see how we can then try and maximise it and spot our weaknesses as well. So I do think we're going to have some interesting times and probably some pretty ropey moments to start the season off. But we start with the whole of the League Cup tournament happens before the league starts, which is brilliant because it's competitive games that, generally speaking, don't have too much of a importance to us. So we can actually see what it's like in this environment. And I think we've got to be pretty happy with that. Nistan had that chance right at the end of the half, but it felt like it was an okay performance for us. There we can say we see a lot of the ball is going through Patut, and we've got the ball down here. So it is interesting that we can kind of see these diamond forming on both sides. Larson is quite deep, isn't really getting the service still, so we might want to encourage a few more through balls. But other than that, I'm quite happy with that. So that's a good first half performance. I'm happy to say that. Obviously, we don't have our best player. Dahlstrom is away with Finland right now. So we're losing a little bit of that creativity there. So let's tell Sid to kind of drift around a little bit, try and play through balls through to Larson. Let me see that. Patu has seen a lot of the ball, but apparently isn't playing well. We'll keep an eye on that in the second half. So Jerome in top 7, they are indeed. My word, I'm that far behind with chat, am I? Oh my. So Jonas, not so fun fact. Nistan's home ground was burnt down earlier this year. Oh, what? Whoa, what happened there? Was that like an accident or some kind of malevolent act? That sounds horrendous. Oliver Kahn, the goalkeeper who didn't even want to let sick kids score a penalty. Have you seen the one with David James as well? So David James did something very similar recently at a charity event. He saved like 3 penalties from the same kid and then started goading the crowd. It was a little bit weird. 8th of January 2019, Dahlstrom came on at half time in a 1-0 friendly win over Sweden in Qatar for his debut. There we go. So 4 years ago. January 2019, so it'd be 5 years ago in game since his first call up. So there we go. So haven't really seen much positive in the second half yet. We do need to protect Sid, which is a little bit of a concern because he is our only remaining creative player. We'll bring Olawale on. Hope that he can attack the box late. And we are going to bring Patut off. So that's going to be Salonen coming back in, hopefully coming to some fitness. And Jaden Reed, he did have that chance earlier on in the game, but the crowd are crying for Willie, so Willie is here. Can we start Willie? I need Willie. You might need Willie, but I'm not going to judge whatsoever in that respect. Willie is 16. Willie is 16, and Adam Larson did finish third top goal scorer in real life in the 2024 season. So he is our first choice striker up front. Plus we have a song for him. No Ramdeuter, who's this Mustermann imposter? Indeed. That hurt to watch. I genuinely have no idea what you're referring to there. I'm that far behind. I do apologise. How's it going, chat? There we are. Knowing squad numbers in the first season is how you build the attachment to players. Potentially. I'd like to get to know which ones I'm going to be sacking off as soon as the first transfer window we can use is going to be there. January the 11th, Dahlstrom got his second game, yep. Good challenge from Reitinen. No, that's not a free kick. Oh, right. I thought they were giving a free kick to Nistan then. My word. Lestry, good evening. Sorry. Good morning, Lou. How are you, sir? Logs in and here's I'm behind on the chat again. Good to see nothing changes. I am nothing if not consistent. You have two players inverting on the left. That's something I'd usually avoid. Any reason for this in the match engine, or is it match delay attempt to lose every game possible and get sacked ASAP? You are here to be mean tonight, aren't you, ease off tackles? What a cruel human being you are. So they're not completely inverting. The inverted winger or the inside forward has stay wider set on them, so they're there in the wide positions to begin with, but their role will mean that they'll cut inside with the ball or make those runs inside when those occasions are there. Not so secret FM, good evening, how are you? Hi mate, hope you're well. I heard on the first stream of the series that you were a St Albans fan. You were talking about club legends. My PE teacher at school was Steve Clark. Have you heard of him? Of course I know who Steve Clark is. I'm not a St Albans fan, I must confess, but I've been to quite a few games and I'm from that area. Went to school in St Albans, lived just outside St Albans most of my youth. But yeah, Steve Clark, I mean, he was literally there almost all of his career. Spent a little bit of time at Stevenage before then coming back. Player, manager, does it all. An absolute legend of St Albans times. We counter press because it's the best moment to get the ball back. We do indeed, RG. You know. Sorry, I do apologise. Just to let you know that the commands, they only work on Twitch. It's basically just going to be, that is a link to the Moneyball Clinic series, which you can see over on YouTube just by clicking on my channel. And that will kind of explain some of those elements, including, as RJ said, we counter press because it's the best moment to get the ball back. Insightful from me. So hello, sir. What time did you go live at? Missed the notification. Bam, bam. Good evening. I went live at 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Every stream we will aim for 7 p.m. I remembered I set up a tweet, but I was a little bit late on putting it up on Blue Sky and on Discord. One of these days I'll actually get that message out before I've started. Third top striker in the league in real life. How quickly do you plan on coaching that out of him? Ease off tackles. Chill. I haven't had tea yet. I apologise. You are my favourite content creator in the FM community. I know I can joke with you without worrying about being banned. Love you, really. Yeah, you're not going to get banned for that. Let's be fair. It is quite funny. The comments on Hood Gaming's channel absolutely hate me. And unfortunately, the way that the coverage is set up on Match of the Delay, there is zero context given to what I'm doing. So they just think that I'm trying to deliberately lose. And we're trying to find creative ways outside of the meta. And I can tell you a little secret. It does get better. It does get better. We may have stumbled upon something that can be effective against the meta, and something that is completely ridiculous at the same time, which is exactly the kind of things we want. So let's just let you know we do have an ad starting in about a minute or so, just over that. For those that aren't used to my streams, I go on a break when we have a minute. If I was at work during the daytime, I would go for a break every hour, make sure that I stand up, I stretch my legs, I refill my drink, I have a vape, I do all the awful things that I need to do just to sell over. And the ad breaks happening once every hour is a really appropriate time to do that. So I will heartily recommend to everyone to to take those couple of moments. I think it's a 3-minute break that we have, and then when we come back, we're going to play Guess the Player, because RJ, what's the term for clicking the thing? It's not in burst. RJ called for it a little bit earlier, so we're going to redeem Largy. Thank you very much. Redeem is the word. I do know words. I promise. I do know words. Yeah, so we'll then go and do the Guess the Player, and then we'll be back for that. But in that time, it does give me like 20 seconds or so to catch up. Crodmo, he banned me once, so you better watch out. I haven't banned you yet, Crodmo, to be fair. That'll come in time. Yonsa, I'm not sure, but you'd assume arson. Football grounds don't really get burned down by themselves. That is very true. Hank the Tank, good evening, sir. How are you? Beautiful, beautiful man. Got Hank and we've got Lewin. This is a wonderful evening. Less possession, but still the same lack of potency up front from Willie. Like, he's not going to be good. Let's face it. Let's have a quick look. It hasn't told me that the ad break started officially yet. It's just saying it's starting soon. So Willie, he's got decent acceleration pace, decent off the ball, decent finishing, pretty much nothing else. So it's going to come down to our supply, and our supply is going to be lacking with Dahlstrom out. We are really going to have to address things. If we have both Dahlstrom and Sid missing, probably means that Willie won't get a game at all. And Arvin Lundberg, our 6'3", 17-year-old, will be the striker that plays up front, because he can jump. He can't head, he can't score, or move, or control the ball. He's not particularly strong, he doesn't have any balance, but he can jump. Right, and that is where the break is. So I'll see you in 3 minutes. And we're back. Welcome. I hope you all enjoyed your short little break there. So let me just catch up properly there with chat a little bit. So Jonas Johnson has come through with a little bit of an update on the Nistan situation. So there was a photo of a guy who was around the stadium at the time of the fire, but it looks like there was never any charge. Not necessarily suspected him of doing it, but just wanted some information. So it looks like the Nistan Stadium's burning down is a mystery. And that feels like the kind of thing that I want to now find out about and dig into before tomorrow night's stream. Like, can we solve... Can a bizarre Twitch strat solve the mystery of Nistan's arson? Root is in, by the way. Good evening, how are you? Crodmo, I do want to say that, you know, if I am king, you will be first against the wall. No, of course, I'd never ban you, my dude, but... you know, it takes a lot to get banned in here. Largely because I'm so far behind that by the time I realise that something's been said, you'll have gotten away with it. Nothing more boring than the meta, says RJ, and you know I'm going to agree with you there. He drew a game against Ipswich. Now, don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. All I can say is that our next 3 games in the Match of the Day series is away against Man City, home against Liverpool, away against Arsenal. So we've got one hell of a run coming up. So there is quite possibly the fact that when I say things get better, I might consider just not losing by like 6 goals to be better. Root is in. I did say that a little bit earlier, but how are you, sir? Lovely to see you in. When you get back, I'll probably be having my tea. So, okay, we have a few moments of ease off tackles, not saying mean things about me, so we're good. Scotland game versus Musterman has to be both at the same time. Thank you very much for the follow, by the way, Hainu. I do apologise that I'm a little bit slow on that. And Tamarados10, really, very much appreciated. What is the Scotland game at the moment? What's the score? Do let me know. If I am king, you will be first against the wall. Indeed, you picked up on the reference, Johnny Trotter. Good evening, sir. How are you? Can't say anything bad. Oh, there are plenty of things bad to say about me. Even if we... I mean... Was I too awful on Slough? I just plied people with alcohol. That's probably not the worst. You didn't quite see the worst of me in Slough, thank God. 1-0 to the Scots. Fantastic. Good on them. Starting to slowly piece things back together again. Right, so here we are. This is Guess the Player. It's again a relatively simple concept. You're going to see 5 photos, one after the other. Each image is a snapshot of a player profile from FM24. Now it's FM24 at the start of the game. So it is potential that the player will be revealed to be at a club that they're no longer at. It might be that if you play with an updated database downloaded from somewhere else, that the player stats might be different to what you're used to. That's part of the challenge there. But it does mean they are a current player. So when Crodmo comes in and guesses Keith Curl, it's a fantastic guess, don't get me wrong. I mean, Keith Curl is a wonderful, wonderful player, but he retired a long time ago. So let's head on there. So it's McGinn who scored the goal. What a legend. So we start off and we'll progress each positions, polygon, scout report, attributes, career history. Chuck your guesses in the channel. What might happen is as you guess things, it's going to open up some ideas for other people that might then convince them to guess. So we've got the first guess coming in as McTominay. Rodri. My mum is a phenomenal guess. She was a ball-crunching defensive midfielder in her heyday. At least, if you ask me, old man. So there we go. It's not my mum. It's not McTominay. It's not Rodri. It's not Busquets. We've already said it's not my mum. That is Busquets, evidently. Johnny Trotter, Jeff Hendrick. Now, that is a shout I like. It's not Jeff Hendrick, but a great name to bring out there. Amadou and Nana. There's a shout. Some people think that I'm going to be very strongly Villa-based with my guesses there. So, Casemiro. It's not Casemiro. Your graphics are always incredible. Thank you, Llama. We do try to make an effort and recycle things that failed on TikTok as much as I possibly can. So Caicedo, that is a good shout as well. Someone who can play through the middle. Absolutely, we have got someone who can play slightly as a defender, but it's definitely more of a midfielder. Tonali, that's a good shout. Seiweld, your dad. It's not my dad. My dad was more of a tricky winger. Is a little bit more agile, a little bit more, a little bit away. That not quite the ball-winning defensive midfielder that we've got here. So we've got a whole few more guesses coming through there. So we've got Patrick Berg, we've got Yves Basuma, Cheikh Doucouré, Edson Alvarez, Ian Taylor. Oh, I wish it was Ian Taylor. I should say none of those right. So let's move on to the next clue. It's not Jameis Winston either, the mid-level deep-lying playmaker. I love Jameis Winston so much. He's fun. For those who aren't NFL fans, I apologise. This won't necessarily mean anything to you. But Jameis Winston is just fun. Whilst the Cleveland Browns suck, I'm happy that we suck as long as there's somebody just kind of going out there, launching it deep and just seeing what the hell happens. So is it De Jong? It is not De Jong, but it does seem like a very De Jong style player. There is something in common here with this player. It's very good defensively, very good with his mentals. Not necessarily as good in the more technical going forward sense of things. And Declan Rice says Root. It's not Declan Rice, but that's a fine guess. Rade Krunic from Largy. Now there's a name. It's not Rade Krunic, but I love the thinking. I absolutely love the thinking. Maybe think a little bit more about De Jong, somewhere more in that kind of area. We've got Michael Bradley, Ben Sheaf, Fabinho being guessed. Paulinho, João Paulinho is a great shout. It's not João Paulinho. Kante, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams. These are all brilliant guesses. They're not quite right. Let's see if the next one might give you a big hint. This is where we reveal the division. And I shouldn't have moved forward to that point because we do have a correct answer in the chat. It isn't, I'm afraid to say, Tien Coop Miners. It isn't Manuel Ugarte, nor is it Amadou Hidera. Gattuso is long retired as a player. Matt Weaver is a great guess, it's not him. Hung De Min went for Ederson. The Atlanta one, oh my word, you are so close. It's not Barella, it's not Struman, it's not Reinders, it's not Anguissa, it's Lestri who came through. It's Martin de Roon. It was an Atlanta player hung him in. A fantastic 3 points go to Lestri 14. What a guesser. Bam Bam came in with it as well a little bit later. Hung de Min's there. Largy's there. Incredible player. I absolutely love him. It's heartbreaking for him to get injured just before the Euros this summer. A very fun man to follow on the social medias as well. Definitely doesn't take himself too seriously. But Martin de Roon, so close hung them in with the Edison guess, the Atlanta one. There we go. Let's get back to the game. This means that Quadmo is about to write the word star wipe. So can I give those points to Palace? You would be lucky. It's been a tricky start this season. Do you feel like Glasner has lost some of the sheen? Is it a case of teams had a summer to prepare and adjust a little bit? Or has it just been the recruitment? Obviously, you've lost some big players over the summer. You did manage to keep hold of a couple as well, to be fair, and I liked your additions. But yeah, do you reckon it's a recruitment issue? Or is it just a case of it might just take a little bit of time and by the new year, things will be back up to speed, hopefully? Okay, I see the De Jong clue. Indeed there. So De Roon and Koopmeier, an iconic duo. They are indeed. You can save Rangers for your Christmas special. Absolutely. Do we think we can do a whole series of Christmas related players? One of my favourite memories of, I think, Champs 97-98 was signing a right back called Jose Santa. He wasn't very good, but he was called Jose Santa. I mean, he did start for my Villa team back then, but that's probably because I was like 12 or 13 and I was more focused on the fact he was called Jose Santa than whether he was an appropriate fit. I got sacked quite a lot. James Milner has good socials. He's quite funny, does he? He's such a boring man. He's portrayed as such a boring man that you'd assume that his socials would be as well, but I am going to check that out. Nunes is now the youngest player. He's just turned 17. He's no longer a 16-year-old. That means he can start every game. We don't need to worry about that. There you go. So 17-year-old Willy Nunes is the youngest ever Liga Cup player. Warstein, he said something different. De Roon and Edson Giro is good too. I was thinking of the Fiorentina DM, but I forgot his name altogether. Which one are you thinking of there? I can't think off the top of my head. So, Mandragora, perhaps? Ah, that's a great name. Mandragora is a great name. Alfred Duncan. Arter. I assume that's the Juventus Arter, is it? It is indeed the Juventus. Oh, I forgot he moved to Liverpool. What a shocker that was. And Maxime Lopez, a great player. It's a shame that Sassuolo weren't able to keep hold of their players and ultimately got relegated last season. FC Santa Claus in Finland, no less. A good shout as well. Valet, good evening, sir. How are you? Estri. So every Bundesliga fan I talked to said he usually has a second season tail off. I think we were lucky with the timing last season. As I said on a previous stream, Elise, Anderson and Ayew were huge losses. And we're lacking identity at the moment. That's fair. That's fair. Mandragora, yes, indeed. So, our next game is against HJK. So that's another... all the Liga Cup teams in our division, in fact. So HJK... no, they're not. Yes, they are. Sorry. They're expected to win the division. So we need to be worried about that. Then we've got Lati, who are again expected to be pretty decent. That might be a pretty tricky game away from home. And then we have Ikanas, who are expected to finish bottom. So we've got a nice mix there. Oh, into Turkey as well. So it's 5 games. 3 teams that are expected to compete to win the league and 2 that are expected to compete for relegation. We should be able to learn a lot there. We do have gaps of 2 weeks between them, so there are some friendlies that were pre-arranged in here. We're not going to change them around. I'm absolutely fine with the way that these are all scheduled out. So yeah, let's scoot on forwards. We get Dahlstrom back from international duty, which will be nice. So I replied to this message because I want to say that it sounds like cheating to me. Minus 10 points to Everton. Indeed. Roque Santa Cruz, RJ. A good shout. Definitely another Santa for the Christmas streams. So Anil Yildirim. First message. Hey guys, is it possible to change fixtures from random to just Wednesday to Saturday? When will it be applied when I change? So it is a setting you can deal with in your preferences. I don't know if is it in the preferences or is it when you start up? I have never ever used it myself. So let's have a look here. Is there a specific match thing here? Oh, that's going to be match settings, isn't it? Let's try searching fixture or Wednesday. So you've got match scheduling options, which is an option there in your preferences. And you've got an opportunity there that you don't allow matches to be moved at all. You allow them to be moved, or that you use Saturday and Wednesday match days. So you do it through preferences. I can't tell you when it comes into effect, but I imagine it wouldn't be until the next season, personally, but I don't know that for sure. Real Betis, by the way, thank you very much for the follow. Very much appreciated. How are you this evening? And another injury, 2 to 3 days. That was 2 days ago, so it looks like he's going to be out for the next game. And Robin Sid is out as well. Brilliant. Also 2 to 3 days, but we don't really want to risk him this. Oh my word. Right, okay. So, on that basis that we are somehow, we have a full bench. If we include those slightly injured players, what's it reckoning? He's 2 days away. He should be coming back tomorrow. He is indeed. So that will mean that we will play Dahlstrom on the left as we wanted to. We want to have him take more risks, play a little bit more direct. We want him pinging the balls forward, basically. We want him sitting in this area and being like a deep lying playmaker, but he's going to defend out in the wide areas so that we can have a player attacking from this position here. We don't really have someone else who can do that role, so we're going to look at Olawale playing in here as an inside forward. He's still going to stay wider so that we have that initial width. No, he's not going to play as inside forward. I lie. Lundberg is coming on. He's going to be a target forward because Robin Larson is going to play out wide there. That will be our options in that respect. Salonen will come in for the start. He's not really sharp, but we can't keep on giving him only 20-30 minutes. We need to get him a little bit more game time in there. Matches Ajala can come on, which is good. Patout struggled a little bit, so Foncel, though, will come there. And then at centre-back, we're going to be starting with Suleiman. Oh, that scares me a little. Look, everything scares me a little, to be fair. And we're not going to... Don't really need to do much more in that respect. He's not good in the air. He's just able to jump. So we're not going to try and pepper everything with crosses. But we are playing against a very good team, so we're going to look to counter-attack. We'll see how we get on with that. Ray Ellis, good evening. How are you, sire? How are you? Lovely to have you in. Liga Cup is Fakers Liga only. Thank you very much, Johnny. Six Igda. I'm definitely getting that wrong. Just said O. O to you indeed. Right, it's Monday night, off to play football in the freezing cold rain. If I'm not back, avenge my death. I will do, Crudmo. Thank you very much for being along, sir. Let's go with this here. Loads of players aren't fit. More squad numbers to give out. There we go. 4 points in the next 3 games. That might be where we get to. It'd be that'd be amazing for us. And Robinson is out. And Robinson is out. And Robinson is manager of IFK Mariehamn. The weakest link indeed. Hello from Stevenage. Hope you're well. Good evening, Daniel. How are you, sir? We share a postcode. I'm giving out far too much information about where I live. I should really tell that back. The good news is that the Stevenage postcode is exceptionally large. It covers a lot of areas, including places not in its own county, so that's okay. Dahlstrom is back. Did he play for the national team? I should have checked that really, shouldn't I? We'll do so at halftime. All redhead team, is it? That'd be amazing. When is it a good time to use the instruction? Hit early crosses. So there are a number of situations where you might want to do it. If you have somebody who is aerially dominant and has the mobility to get into the box quite early, it can be really useful to use it so that you can take advantage of the opposition defence not being settled in their defensive shape. If you're trying to cross against a really crowded box, it's very difficult, so you use hit early crosses to try and knock the ball in early. It can also be useful if you don't have much of an aerial presence and you want to try and get in behind and you're able to whip the ball in low and hard against the high line. So there's a couple of situations you can use them in. This is already looking nervy here, by the way, so that's a couple of chances now. Well, it's not that bad. They've had 2 shots only and we've seen both of them. So the momentum is in their favour. So there's a couple of times you can use them there. If you have a Lukaku, not an FM Lukaku, not the in real life one, you early cross, yeah. For someone who, like Lukaku's such a physical specimen, he's not just big and strong, but he's got the pace and the movement in FM, at least, to get into the box and really take advantage of that space and attack the ball when it's there. So it's kind of been okay so far this half. Nothing Nothing majorly concerning. I don't expect much. Here's Lundberg, though. This is a chance. Boom! Teacher's move for celebrating, eh? We don't even get a replay. We have no VAR down in Finland. And that means we've been robbed of knowing whether we've been robbed or not. But here's Nissinen. Oh, I think he's right-footed only, but that was a great shot from distance. So, an encouraging end to the half. That's kind of what we expect. We don't expect to have too much of the ball. We are looking to counter. But we have restricted them in terms of chances, which is good considering HJK are favourites to win the league. So we can see here, they've had a lot of the ball, but it is quite deep. 27 pass combinations is pretty decent for a striker, but they are quite disconnected there. There's a nice big zone away from the striker. And we'll probably see similar here. No, we've got more support this time. Salinen's doing a really good job of getting up and supporting Lundberg. Larson, perhaps a little bit wider than I would have, because I want him both staying wide and then attacking the box. So I would have probably preferred him closer to where Salinen is, but we do have those bodies into that position, which is cool. I assume we're going to see that the ball winner is the player who's lost the ball most of the time, which at the moment is Fonsell. It's not, it's Dahlstrom. But Dahlstrom is meant to be creative, that's absolutely fine. Suleiman is a rubbish player. I mean that in the nicest way. He's young, he's not really starting caliber player, but we are a little bit short on players, so that's there. So before we forget, let's have a look. Did Dahlstrom play? He did not play. And that means he didn't get injured, so that's something, I believe. Let's head into the second half. Pretty happy with that so far. Yep, no VAR here. We are old school. And that does mean that I'm allowed to claim that we've been robbed. I mean, sure, maybe we could watch the highlights back and check, and they probably got it right. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a disgrace, and the officials in Finland should all resign out of shame. Look, I seem to have had quite a bit of success against 3 centre-back defences. Good to hear. Again, yep, so with 3 centre-back defences, it's about them being able to settle. You don't want them to settle, so you can have a lot of joy by attacking them early, or a lot of joy by having players pull off them and make them have to make a decision as to whether to step up or not. Okay, we've done well to get rid of the danger there. Salonen coming forwards. Here's Reed. He goes back. Fonsell. Pressure's coming now, but Dahlstrom over the top. Here's Reed. Here's Reed. Oh! That would have been something. That would have been something indeed. My favourite combo instruction, pass into space and work into box. A classic. Not support in space while waiting for better opportunities for XG, indeed. Okay, so is this another highlight for us? If so, this is actually quite encouraging at this point. Station Larson.
Adam Larson. Adam Larson.
There we go. Adam Larson. Does well, creates the space off the inside of the upright and in. What a beautiful, beautiful human being he is. This has been a really good start to the second half so far. He's supposed to take risks, makes sense. Indeed, exactly. I guess if you don't, the defence can get settled, but if you're them early on the counter, absolutely, exactly that. Kismu, thank you very much for the follow, by the way, sir. I do not like that we have a highlight immediately after scoring. I mean, whilst we might have the ball right now, it doesn't mean we're going to have it all the way through. There's the pressure, but we've got to send it forward long and a chance for HJK to clear. They go long, but Alvanen is there. Here's Larson. Plays it back. Fonsell into Reed. Lundberg. Is he able to play Reed back through? He is. And Aiden Reed! Get in! This is what we want. This is what we want. See, if you're not being dogmatic, you can actually win games. Right, Lundberg does well to find the reverse pass. Reed, so much space. Fires hard across Henriksen, and that is 2-0. Portugal are winning 1-0 against Croatia. Right, Lundberg sends it in. Can we make it 3-0? Dahlstrom gathers, plays it back to Salonen. Salonen, it comes off the crossbar. Or the post, maybe. Or maybe the keeper. It credited it to the keeper. So maybe I was wrong there. What a start to the second half this has been. We need to bottle whatever that halftime team talk was and use that as much as possible. Now, here's a free kick for HJK. Casalo, a cruel deflection off Suleiman, and now it's game back on. There we go, we sag off. Shot comes in, absolutely nothing Riikonen could do. And to be fair, HJK didn't deserve to be losing when we took the lead, so we can't complain too much, but here's a chance now. Can Larson restore our lead? He hits the woodwork again. Oh my. Oh my. João Felix scored. Time to start him in your Chelsea save, Musterman. Never. Never. All he ever does is let me down. Maybe. So you like Amorim tactic, the new United manager? This isn't really particularly Amorim. Yes, Amorim likes a 3-4-3, but in terms of the tactical approach, it's very, very different. He does a much more active mix of transition and high pressing, which we're not doing here. A lot more focus on getting players to create from those gaps in behind, whereas our creativity is more coming off the left. But yeah, it's a very similar shape. Right, let's look at those changes. Jaden Reed can come off. We'll give Sid a little bit of time. We need to give Ajala some time as well. And I think we're just going to stick with those two changes. We look to see out the half. We should have probably pulled it back to a little bit more defensive and maybe waste some time. But let's see if we can keep the pressure on with this system rather than having to retreat and invite more pressure onto us. Nice music too, hey! 2-0 Liquid Football. Who scored the second goal? That's some gaming right there. Need a Lou Reed song for Jaden Reed scoring. Perfect day. I love it. It's the idea of something that isn't obvious in terms of like it doesn't mention their name or you've got to go that extra step. Absolutely. A bit of Take a Walk on the Wild Side would be amazing. Just for that sliding bass line. I know it's not particularly energetic, but beautiful. Up the Stevenage. Indeed. Come on. Another goal from Set Pieces FM. Always the way. Always the way. So here we go. We've got 6 minutes of injury time. They don't want HJK to lose. That is clearly trying to give them a chance to get back into it. We do need to make a change here. We'll give the chance there. And Larson is looking tired, so let's bring on Olawale, and we will invite pressure for those last few moments by wasting time. Remember, look, I paused. I'm getting good at this, eh? So here we go. Last 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Eesh. Here we go, Ritawi. And that's narrowly wide. That has got to be it now. Come on, ref. What are you playing at? What are you playing at? We send it long. It's a free kick. You could have played on and let us run through, but no. Right. With 2 minutes. 2 minutes over now. Well, in the second minute over. This is just cruel. There we go. There we go. That's a pretty good result. Got to be pretty happy with that. So that spell in the second half, really, really good. We did really nicely. That their goal was completely against the run of play. And it looks like the last 5 minutes, as we did change to a bit more conservative, did have an effect in terms of reining them back a bit. I think we can be happy with that. Better XG, fewer shots. We actually ended up with more possession, which is quite a surprise. Yeah, brilliant. Maybe there's something we can build on from here. Yuri Nisanen gets a 6.2. I didn't think he played particularly bad. He had a weird shot from distance. Other than that, I didn't really see them pouring down his side or anything, so that seems a little harsh, but obviously with highlights you don't see the full picture of what happened, so There you go. Our next game is against FC Lahti. That's going to be an away game, which is going to be a little bit trickier, but hopefully does mean that, okay, Anderson won't quite be ready, but Sid should be okay. Machado should be able to come back in. We're starting to slowly get players back. Yeah, really happy with that. Let's move on to game number 3. Nice win, 3 points in the bag for sure, indeed. Now, obviously, we don't have any real high ambitions on the Cup this in the first season, but those games, especially against the bigger teams, the ones where we might have to be braced a little bit, I think it's really encouraging to know that we can compete. 4 points was maybe too pessimistic. Let's aim for 7 out of 9. That's the thinking, RJ. That's the thinking, my man. Andy Puffer, thank you very much for the follow, and what a great name you have. Dikwadi Mtsepe, hello from South Africa. Good evening, sir. How are you? Whereabouts in South Africa are you? I did a save in South Africa for FM23. At the, I apologise for the pronunciation, Uthangafi, who I believe are based right in the north. So that was really fun. I used to go over onto YouTube and watch there's a YouTube video from the club there of them singing in the changing rooms after a game. So every time we won, that would be my reward, because it's awesome. Really gets you pumped up. Paul Jones, what are my camera settings for the match? We're on vertical scrolling. I would normally have it zoomed all the way in, height all the way down to the bottom. Because when I stream, I play on a much lower resolution, so that it fits on the screen properly. I increase the height a little bit, I drop the zoom a little bit. And then we'll use Director for the replays. I never checked back on that disallowed goal. So I might do so, just to see if we can claim we were robbed. It's better to know these things for certain than to make spurious claims that we've been robbed. I did at one point call for all of Finland's officials to resign, so. Right, here we go. What we got? We've got another injury. It's Emmanuel Patu. He is out for 5 weeks. Intermediaries don't matter. The transfer window isn't open. Have a look at there is an irony that Mark Nordqvist is the worst trainer there, because he is one of our coaches. Bless him. So where were we? Schedule. Let's have a look at that disallowed goal. Where was the... Well, this one, right? The biggest match of the day, Liechtenstein versus San Marino, 1-0 at half-time. I assume that's to Liechtenstein. Poor San Marino. They got their one win, and that's as far as they go from here on in. So, I think we've got a good shot there of Alvinen on the ball. Look at Lundberg. That looks onside to me. Maybe not. Maybe not. He's peeking out. Like a turd. Like a little turtle. Just offside. It looks like they've got it right and they can all keep their jobs. But there you go. Paul, that's the settings there. So we weren't robbed, as it turns out, but we can still feel hard done by. So we've managed one game of being able to name a full bench. Anson will still be about a week away, so we're not going to put him on there. We are going to bring Machado back in. Suleiman did pretty well considering the situation. Mr. Teeny, you gentleman, thank you so much for the subscription. How are you, my man? This man, I assume most people here know, but Mr. Teeny does some wonderful mod work, often alongside the mad scientist, for creating regens that are real. So they're not regens or new gens, when you play with an old database, you can get the wonder kids coming through that were real life players. Phenomenal work. An absolute legend of the scene. So there we go. Lovely to have you in. How are you this evening? Johnny, you can still claim the ref is on some substance. Yeah, yes. We it might not be the whole of the Finnish referees that are corrupt, but we can claim there's at least one David Coote out there. Forsell is wanted. He is, but the window is disabled, so no one's going to be able to actually bid on him. It is just a loan. Jeff Badman, thank you for the subscription. Thank you for having an awesome first name as well. Best first name there is out there. I will even forgive you for spelling it incorrectly. I'm joking. There's a non-zero chance it's right, indeed. So, John, sir, any tips on how to make the most of a wingerless formation? So, are you talking about no one on the in the wide positions whatsoever, so you don't even have wing backs? Or are you just talking about maybe something like this, where you'd have the inside forward actually tucked inside? At which point, my advice is to make sure you have players providing the width. If you play narrow, then you're really... If you play with a narrow formation up front, be it, say, like a 4-4-2 box, or a 3-4-2-1 centrally, then it's really only your wing backs who are able to consistently provide width. And you need that width to be able to stretch the opposition line. You want to be able to make sure that their defence can't stay as narrow and as compact as possible. So the important thing is that those wing backs have to do that. And you need to make sure that you've got support between those lines. So making sure that someone from the defensive midfield area is getting forward so that you're able to link between midfield and your attacking unit. Generally, other than that, just basic principles of football. Make sure that you've got players that fit the style of play you want. You'll be fine. Mr. Tini, finally getting a break after 6 weeks of solid editing work, so all good. Thanks. 6 weeks. So I mean, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Stuff with skinning, especially, has been very similar, where it's just day after day after day after day after day. You never quite get there. You're always wanting. You get so close to the finish, and then you suddenly come up with more things that you decide you want to do. So Dequade, based in Johannesburg, I did a save with Ethan Guthrie too. Whenever I do a journeyman save, I look for a team in South Africa to start with. Makes it feel a bit more realistic. That makes sense. And it was a journeyman, or the intention was going to be a journeyman, and Ethan Guthrie were the first team that came by. And it's such a fun little league setup as well, with the only 1 year contracts in the second division, which means that you're constantly recycling your team until you get up to the Premier Division. Great historic teams up in that top. Obviously, Super Sport are amazing, but you've got the Kaiser Chiefs and you have the Orlando Pirates, and it's a really fun league to play in. So yeah, definitely a good place to start a journeyman. But no such thing as corrupt refs. AFM Academy lies. Yonsa 4-1-2-1-2. So yeah, you're going to want those. You're going to want those fullbacks getting forwards and supporting that, providing that width as much as possible. The non-traditional spelling, Jeff. So double J-O-E-F. That's how I spell my name. You don't want double Fs. It's always about the double J. I'm sorry to say Jeff isn't my real name. It's an old Union joke. I hope I haven't disappointed me. You haven't, Jeff. I'm going to still call you Jeff. Or if you prefer, Mr. Badman. Mad and I can definitely relate to that, says Mr. Teeny. Indeed. I can only imagine what it's like, especially as you do it all the way through. You missed the O. You missed the O-R-G. Double J O-E-F. Obviously, that's not how I spell my name. That is literally, I think, possibly the most wrong I could. So it's got the E and the O from how I actually spell it the wrong way round. Wrong letters being double. I'm just being silly. I do apologise. So we should probably stick a little bit to what we've done here. Now, Reed and Larson scored. So that means I might keep Sid on the bench, and we're going to stay with the... Because we are counter-attacking. We are away against a very, very good team. So let's trust them, he says, a little bit scared. And have Sid to come on as someone who can change the game later on, hopefully. Totally normal. Mr. Badman is my father, please. Jeff is fine. DJ Jazzy Jeff, indeed, indeed. Right, no one's happy with me there. Let's do the same round of things. I have a feeling that after a brilliant result last time out, we're about to come back down to earth with this, which is fine. We have to be realistic. We didn't expect to beat HKK. We don't expect to beat Lahiti. We don't expect to beat Inter Turku either. We should probably do well against that other team whose name I've already forgotten. I do look forward to the point in the save once I've got familiar with all the names of the teams and you start to build those rivalry up. But obviously here's Concola tipped over by Riikonen. Good strong fist. Obviously being based in the Åland Islands with this save, we don't really have clear geographical rivals in the league. So do need to look into the history there to see if they do have some mainland rivals, something we can kind of ham up a little bit, maybe get a little bit more dirty and aggressive with, something that can kind of spice up, or maybe we develop rivalries during the course here. Here's Dahlstrom, looks to play it out wide. Nissen has space to get across, and Reed, that's the Jaden Reed I was expecting. Nistan. So no, Nistan with the team we played first. There we go. 1-0 to Lahiti. It's a corner to the far post for Tico. Gets in there. He's isolated one-on-one with the defender. Squeezes it in. Alvin didn't even seem to jump for it. That's a little bit disappointing. So yeah, Nistan we did play, but it's the team that we play after Lahiti, who are predicted to finish 12th. I think that's a game that we'd be quite keen to win, hopefully. Inter Turku are probably closest. That's good to know. Archie, to the midfielder, I have faith in you. You can make the difference. Randomly, the goalkeeper seems motivated. Don't you get that? Don't you hear someone else getting praise of Reed? Olawayemi with an easy save, really, there. He had all of the right-hand side of the goal to aim for, and he put it back where the goalkeeper was. That's two chances for Jaden Reed now. It's a little bit concerning, his finishing. But that's what we get with him. His finishing's not good. His first touch isn't good. His off the ball isn't good. But he can dribble. That's what Jaden Reed brings to the table. So chance now for Lahiti to build up. I feel like we've had a pretty decent half, so if we to go 2-0 down now, it'd be a bit disappointing. There you go. This is our mid-block in action, which has seen Salonen step up for no apparent reason, but that's forced the error. Lundberg, can he play it through? Here's Larson. Adam Larson off Arben Lundberg again.
Adam Larson. Adam Larson.
There we go. Adam Larson. This is why he starts. This is why Adam Larson starts. That and his name kind of scans to Barbara Streisand. So, Lundberg, I said earlier on in the stream, was my third choice striker. That's 2 assists now, which is certainly encouraging. Just as I was saying, I felt like we'd had a good first half. I would have been not happy to be 1-0 down at half time, but I wouldn't have been too dismayed had we been 1-0 down. I would have felt that 2-0 would have been harsh, but 1-0 is incredible. So there we go. Jaden Reed's his finishing has been a concern. We'll probably give him, say, 10 minutes. And the same with Salonen. Salonen's been fine, but we'll then get Ujala on. Can we say something to that effect? I've never really been able to find anything. So Salonen and Jaden Reed. I can't say that. I can't say I'm furious or you've not been good enough. Okay. I've never tried saying you've not been good enough when they're both playing absolutely fine and we got a good result. Yeah, Jaden, we lost focus. That's fair enough. I get it with him on there. I just want to say, hey, 10 minutes, you're coming off. Unless you do something magical. 3 changes from Lahiti at half time. They are not happy. So there we go. We've got Simonovic on a yellow card. We've got Luke Ivanovic is now injured. There's the 10-minute mark. So here comes the changes. Jaden Reed replaced by Sid. Maciej Sajala comes on for Salonen. They've brought Ivanovic off just as I was about to tell them to tackle harder. No pressure, boys. I think got to be reasonably content with that. Away from home, this is certainly quite good. Okay, since those changes, they've started to get a little bit more rhythm there. Maybe if we can steal a goal. Now, here's the cross in. Oluwayemi gets it clear. Okay, chance for us to recycle potentially. Niskanen, big. Okay, I'm not sure what that was. Does that mean this is now their highlight? Long ball goes forward. Kuningas beaten the air by Alvanen, but here's the chance. Odotayo. There's 3 players there who could make a challenge, but none of them do. Odotayo plays it into Siminovic, and that's the corner. Ooh. 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 More like Henrik Larsson. Indeed. Here's our Henrik Larsson. Kuningas has picked up a knock. That's their player. Let's look here at what we can do. So we don't have a right back. So we're going to bring a right winger on for Niskanen to give him a little bit of rest. Mikael Fonsell can be replaced by Suleiman because I don't like having defensive midfielders really, really tired right at the end of the game. And we will finish off with Villa Nunes. He can't be. So we'll ask him to play as a pressing forward attack. We're going to get Sid to be a little bit more of a normal attacking midfielder. So we'll ask him to run from position. Ask him to take more risks and to dribble more. So hopefully he can then play through to one of these guys there. But we are going to just drop things a little bit. In that respect, we are going to waste time a little bit. And I'm okay with that. Who was the player who took a knock? It was Kuningas. Oh, he's been brought off as well. Right. So these 2, I'll tell them that they've got no pressure. Olawale, I'll tell them that I have faith. Into the final 15 minutes. Can we hold on? Could we steal something at the death? Okay, so we haven't seen any change in momentum. Yes, we have. We have. Okay, that's good. So part of the reason we stepped down mentality was because things were starting to look all Lahiti. I'd be quite happy if we can see this out until the end of the half. There we go, into the last minute. It's a corner kick. It's a highlight from the corner kick. Please let this highlight be the full-time whistle. Yarvan pass standing over it, sends it in. Vita wins the header at the near post. It goes over. Ooh. Ooh. Nervy ending there. Right. Really happy with that as well. So that's 3 games unbeaten. 2 of those games against teams that we really are expected to lose to. Is that Chelsea's? No. I thought that might have been Jimmy Tarwinen, the youngster in the Chelsea squad who's potentially out on loan, but it's not. I wonder if he's related. 22-year-old Julius Taurianen. He is indeed related to Jimmy Taurianen, who is a Chelsea player on loan in Denmark. Wow, that makes me feel like I know something. There's luck more than anything else, but yeah, really happy with that. Quite an even game. We had slightly fewer shots, but we had more XG once again. We had some great chances with Jaden Reed where we could have potentially won it. Yeah, I'm happy, guys. What an encouraging start to the cup. Now, we did note that our fitness did seem to be a little bit ahead of Nistans in the first game, so I wonder if that plays a part, that we've done a bit better from the in that regards. And so our next game is a friendly, and who was that team that we play after that? We play Ekenas. Ekenas with the team I couldn't remember. So let's head forwards. We do actually have another break coming up in about 5 minutes. So what we'll do is I'll probably run that a little bit early. Maybe now that we're kind of in the swing of things, I'm not going to play this friendly. We're just going to set as many of our reserves into the lineup as we possibly can, and instant result it, so that we don't have to worry too much about watching a friendly against the team I think we've already played. So draw away against the big team, says RJ. Absolutely, what a brilliant result that was. I'm genuinely shocked by that. Diguardi, I have a request, sir. For the Chelsea Moneyball video, she mentioned you would find players without using external resources. Will you please do a video showing how that would be done? Pretty please. Yes, so if you go and watch the I'll pop a chat on the Chelsea video, like pop a comment in there. Once I finish, so this evening after I finish, I'm going to be honest, I'm going for a nap. Then I'm going to get back up at about midnight, 1 o'clock. I'm going to watch the NFL and I'm going to edit Friday's video. But when I get back up, I will then be in a position to go through and check. I know that one of my videos does talk about it and goes through it in-game and in-game only, but I can't remember which one off the top of my head. So have we got through a week without injuries? No, we don't. Our only right back is out. He's out for 2 months with a lower back stress fracture. Awesome. And our target forward, who's got 2 assists in 2 games, is out for just for 2 to 3 days, but that happened yesterday. The injury bug is very, very much setting in before the season's even properly started. So Yonsa says, I believe that Ekenas game would be the fiercest one for IFK. Interesting. Interesting. That is something to look forward to. So whereabouts are Ekenas based? Is that like a competitive fierceness or a geographical one potentially? Oh, I like the look of Lucas Kaufman. Look at that moustache. That man, that is a man that I have a lot of respect for already. Leskill has what I would describe as one of the most finished beards I've seen as well. He's their vice captain. That's a game to look forward to there. Let's right, so Anderson is back. Remember, this is all about fitness. Olawale as the right back. Lundberg is not fit enough for that game. Here we come. So Suleiman can come in for... We're going to swing Machado over. We're going to play Daniel Enqvist. Anderson shouldn't really come straight into the team. But Okereke can. These guys will come out. We'll spare them. In fact, we'll spare Dahlstrom and we'll spare Sid. Actually, what is Sid? Nope, Sid will play. We'll just go there with the inverted wing on support again. As this guy will be a pressing forward. We need Sid to get up to fitness, that's why he's involved. Salonen needs to fitness as well. We just have a few of these players on the bench just to make sure that we have some substitutions that we can go for. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So it's Chelsea Part 2, I think. Watched it today. Thank you, Visual Samurai. Much appreciated. I thought it was as well, but I didn't want to say that and be completely wrong and send you down the garden path. So let's just let them do their thing. We probably might lose this with a very, very disjointed team, but we're not really paying much attention to that. I think mostly because they're both mainly Swedish speaking. It's really slim pickings for IFK in terms of rivalries. That's fair indeed. Oh, we instant resulted and Willie Nunez scored his first ever goal. Jaden Reed named man of the match. There we go. So when we're not, maybe he gets a little bit of stage fright. When we're watching him, he misses chances, but when we don't, he's brilliant. So we can be happy with that. We're not going to accept a loan offer for anyone. Then what we're going to do, we have got our game. It's a home game against the Canis. This looks like it's going to be our big rivalry. We have an ad starting in about a minute and 30 seconds or so, according to my lovely screen, but it never quite makes sense. It never quite works out exactly that time. So when we do, we're going to go on a break. We're going to stretch our legs a little bit. We're going to smoke. We're going to drink some drink. I haven't drunk any of my drinks so far. So I really need to do that. Chris Norton Walker is in. Good evening, sir. How are you? No need to apologise for being late. Make way for Willie. I said make way for Willie indeed. Willie is in the ascendancy right now. He is rising. Willie is rising. And you can quote me on that. We almost made it through a week without an offer on Sami Hyypiä. My word, that feels like quite a coup. You know, obviously, it's time at Leverkusen, at Brighton. I don't know who FCZ are. That's Zurich. FC Zurich. Spent time at Hacker as well. There is an interesting coaching hire. My technical director's doing quite well. Hugo Holmberg. Thank you very much. So that is our first coach through the door, and it's the legend that is Sami Hyypiä. How about that? Then we almost went through the week without an injury, but Leon Anderson just is going to miss out. But here we go. So here we've got a ad underway. So I'll see you in roughly 3 minutes. We're back. Indeed, Willie is rising. MustermannFM, you can quote me on that. I think with things that I've said already during the course of this evening that I'm already being put on a list, so we'll deal with it. By the way, Adam, if you are still in the chat, I do apologise that I missed that a little bit earlier. Thank you very much for being along. Absolutely appreciate it. You are a legend. And Chris asks, do I not have a Willie song? I don't have a Willie song right now. So I did spend some time over the weekend working on a rendition of You Will, You Won't by the Zootons. But I wasn't particularly happy with it. And now you guys have heard the songs that we do have. And so if something wasn't quite at that standard, that tells you just how bad they were. It just wasn't quite right for us, unfortunately. How are these guys in terms of injuries? 7 days. We're going to have only 8 subs yet again. But let's go. We might stick with this now because we're going to be the home team. We're going to look to have a little bit more impetus there. We don't need to counter. So Dahlstrom comes back in. Sananen comes back in as well. Bonsell for certain comes in. Reitinen needs to be at the heart of our defence. Shot over there. Obviously we want to make sure our goalkeeper is in. And we have no right back. So Olawale is now potentially a right back for the remainder of the season. Or is he? Can Larson play behind the striker? Apparently not. But let's give it a try anyway. Let's try Larson there. And then Jaden Reed is potentially a substitute for that position, but also potentially another right wing back. Like Olawale is not a wing back whatsoever by any stretch of the imagination. But our hand has essentially been forced. We have 0 other players that can play at right back or right wing back. We're already playing a midfielder as a left wing back, so I think that says everything we need to know. Katagaris, thank you very much for the follow. Really, really appreciate it. Whoa, wait a second. Hanks just said that San Marino is beating Liechtenstein right now. Is that 2-1 to San Marino? They've turned it around. Incredible stuff. Could this be a campaign with 2 wins for San Marino? Jesus. That's almost as many wins as we managed in a whole season with AC Moneyball. Yep, and RJ said it as well. Gotta be there. Gotta be the belly's gonna get you Reebok ad, but with Willie. I love the idea. I love the idea. Willie's gonna get you is one hell of a thing to say, and I love it. I love it. Yeah, so we've got Ekenas, and then we finish up with Inter Turku for this Copa Liga. So I assume that if we finish in the top 2 potentially, yeah, top 2 looks like goes through to the next round. I assumed that we didn't really have a hope of getting out of the groups here, so I didn't look any further. So let's have a look at the schedule. We've got group stage, and then we've got a semi-final, probably against the opposite team, would be my guess. So the team in second plays against the team in first from the other league, and then a final. Interesting. So maybe we've got a hope of some later tournament football. But to do that, we really, really need to get the better over Ekenas here. They are a team that are expected to be relegated, predicted to finish 12th in the league. They are the weakest opposition we're up against here. So Nunes, it says, isn't much for pushing forward. Let's give him a try as a poacher. That's what it says he's better. We've got a whole load of players playing out of position, so maybe it helps to have at least one player doing what they're meant to be doing. They broke the curse. Now they'll be invincible. That would be amazing. San Marino up to Nations League C as it stands. That would be that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I mean, spare a thought for Liechtenstein right now, because obviously it's a great story for San Marino if they can hold on. But Liechtenstein having to deal with those defeats, it's got to feel bad, man. That's got to feel so bad. Not do anything here. Looks like they're mainly going to attack down the left-hand side would be my guess. Rahimi to cut inside with Malandana pushing forward. Something to be mindful of with our right-hand side not having any defenders. But otherwise, let's just see how it goes, and we can we can adjust as we go. So what NFL game is on later? It's a sport I want to try to get into a bit more. Now, I must confess, Hainu, I actually don't know. I've got to the point where it doesn't really matter what the games are. I'll turn up at 1 a.m. in the morning and watch it anyway. It's good background TV whilst editing. Right, so early start. Looks like things have been going very much in Ikanis' favour here. Here's Efmor. We managed to get the tackle in. We get it clear, but chance here. Efmor has space, but he goes back. He was offside, ref. Offside, ref. Shocking decision. I don't know. I'm just assuming. That's a lovely ball through, though. Oh, it's a great cutout from Machado. That to block that through ball was incredible from Machado, even if it did then fall back in their favour. So I think we need to get it up at them, because that's been a pretty poor start. Looks like we are better when we're playing against teams that we're expected to lose to. Here comes Sid. He steps in. Chance to move forwards. Fonsell plays it back. There's Olawale. He's got loads of space. Can he get there first? He can. What will he do with it? He'll play it back to Fonsell. Inside to Machado. Machado feeds Larson. It's a bit of a weak effort from Larson, unfortunately. That's the chance gone. But we have had a chance, which is something at least. And that does mean that we haven't done our shout. And here we go. Cross to the far post. Alvinen gets there first. Tahimi from distance. Raikkonen lets that in. They describe it as a howitzer. I thought it feels like it was a good place for the keeper to save there, personally. Tahimi on the volley. Does it take a little deflection on its way through? Maybe. Right, now we can fire them up. We need to make some... Oh well, that's Robin Sid out injured. Right, so we will go back to the whole inside forward thing. We'll try him as a pressing forward on support. I'm not necessarily sure that's going to be what we go with, and so that could be Wille coming off at half time, I have a feeling, but we're not going to make two substitutions now. Let's see if just countering might help, because they have had a lot of the ball. Maybe we are just going to have to commit to the counter attack. Right, so another opportunity here for Ikenas to build up from deep. Salonen gets in with the challenge. Larson takes over. Can he come inside? He can, and that's not a penalty. I was being held back. Okay, we'll take his word for it there. Who is our penalty taker? Our penalty taker is Jaden Reed, the man who's missed some big chances so far, but he puts that on one way, and that's 1-1. 1-1. We're back in it, but who cares that it's 1-1? It's 3-1 to San Marino. Bloody hell. How about that? Incredible there. Not their fault if someone started to build a nation in San Marino and they're like, yes, I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Right, now, here's Erkas. Can they restore the lead? Fafana gets away from his man. Machado makes the challenge, but it falls once again to them. F him off. Driving forwards, gets the cross in. Pallas off the upright. It has been all Elkanas this half, really. We are lucky. We are very, very fortunate to be 1-1 right now. But Larson's now taking on the counter-attack. Nothing much happening there. Clear penalty. Could have killed the boy. A shirt pull is dangerous, you know. Like your body, your weight, your momentum. It's not expecting it. That could lead to a broken back. We should probably suspend him for the rest of the time. As Olawale is through. Olawale off the inside and somehow out for a goal kick. Oh. My word. So, we have struggled for possession in this half. And let's have a look to see if that's through wastefulness. Dahlstrom essentially has carte blanche to be wasteful. Larsson's lost the ball 6 times. He's next, but he has touched it 22. That's perfectly fine. Riekinen has lost it quite a lot. He's evidently going long. We might want to maybe drop it short and then counter, just to kind of draw Ekenes out a little bit more. Ekenes, so we've got 41 touches there. 37 touches on Lindholm. So let's have a look at where Lindholm is operating. Here he is, kind of in that left channel. That left side is where we're a little bit worried. So maybe we try and push them over to their right. Do we have the players to deal with a complicated, but it's not that complicated, pressing system? We're about to find out. We want to get the ball away from the left-hand side where Malandama is the attacking left back. He's getting space to push forwards, and Lindholm is kind of dominating the ball. So we've got a choice, which is we can let him get the ball and then try and press him. We have very, very limited information about him, so this is a high estimate of his ability. And the high estimate of his ability says that he might be kind of okay at passing, kind of okay at ball control, but not necessarily great. So we could let him get the ball and then try and press him. Or we could mark him and try and make it difficult for them to pass to him in the first place. And I think we're going to trigger the press. Because 3-star passing is okay, but not great. And Lundberg is going to come back into the lineup because that makes it a little bit better for Larson to play off. So, Fonsal's lost confidence. Let's see if we can tell him there's no pressure. That made no difference. And let's tell Lundberg that he has no pressure either because he's only young. He's also 17. It's a bit better when Larson was in. Well, Larson is in. He's there out on the left, so we can cope with that. So, first team to lose to San Marino competitive. Now it looks like the first team to lose at home to San Marino. Oh, they're being mean. I mean, like that also means literally the first team for San Marino to complete a double over. Also a great name for a manager when doing a build a nation save for San Marino. San Marino, beautiful. Maybe a nephew of Dan. I definitely like Dan Marino as both a run on San Marino and obviously the NFL legend too. By early chance here, perhaps Salonen shoots from the angle, blocked, and that'll be a corner. The first few moments, at least of the second half, we seem to have had a bit more flow to us, which is nice. Cross comes in, nothing happening there. Machado, at least he tried to head it back into play. Interesting header from Machado there. Now remember, let's take one like 0.8 off the XG there so far because that penalty counts for a huge amount there. Dahlstrom sends the free kick in. A tame header, always going over. Machado with a clearing. It was, I mean, like it was amazing defending from Machado. It's just a shame that we were attacking at that particular point. Right. We'll risk it. Maybe we score and we'll feel bad for it, but I doubt it. So we've risked the shout. Here's a chance. They're playing up deep. There is opportunities for us to win the ball up high, potentially. But we don't. They play it through. Efimov as he through. Skips inside. Lovely bit of skill from Efimov. Plays it to Fagerstrom. That deserved a goal at the end of it. Beautiful way that he cut back inside. Right, we need to make changes. Let's pause. Let's try and just be a little bit more risk happy. Matthias Ayala could come on for Olawale. Then we put Jaden Reed therefore out at right on the right hand side. Possibly. I think Salonen was the guy who had good movement, yeah, and Ayala is more of a defensive midfielder. No, he's got good movement as well. Neither of them are particularly good at shooting. So I'm happy with that. But oh yeah, we're going to do that. We don't want him taking risks, but you should know by now I don't like players on yellow cards. That always scares me. So we'll take off the creativity element from there. Don't really have someone who can be that creative, but we will try and ask you to take more risks. Hopefully you can feed Larson. I have faith. Into the last 15 minutes, we've gone a little bit more attacking. Let's see how it goes. So is this DM? Is this FM25? This is not FM25. We are still 4 months away as Larson hits the bar, but we are in. 20... No, we're not. We're in 24. We're in 2024 now, aren't we? Yes. Because the league starts in December 2023. Here's the cross for far post. Larson, what was he doing there? There's a chance. There's an open goal. And Salomon. Oh, that could have been the moment. Could have been the moment, surely. Right, Reed to take the corner. He's also on a yellow card now. But we're out of right backs who aren't right backs. Crosses it in. Machado off the outside of the post and wide. He's done a very, very good job of heading the ball out of play. So, third draw. No, I shouldn't have said that. I just said third draw. And now there's a highlight in the 7th minute of 5 minutes of injury time. Okay. Okay. We got away with it. There we go. So, we... Better second half. There were some really, really pleasing things. As a pre-season tournament for us, we've managed to adapt to not playing particularly well in the first half or so and make sure that we've got our flow going. We didn't get the results, and it's a bit disappointing that we've failed to beat either of the teams considered to be worse than us. But four games, 3 draws, 1 win so far, that's not the worst thing in the world. But we need to tell them that I expect more than them. It is FM25. The graphics are not impressive. I mean, don't expect major changes. I don't expect. I mean, yes, Unity's coming along, but there's still going to be a certain element of limitation, I think, there. The minimum requirements didn't go up that much. Congratulations, sir. You're on Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage's favourite number for followers, 606. I see what you did there, Llama. And then Captain Zeep went and spoiled it all by following and becoming number 607. You didn't spoil it, Zeep. I thank you very much. I obviously don't mean that whatsoever. And right, so Sid is now out for 2 weeks. We've got a friendly in between, so we might actually potentially be back in time for the game against Inter Turku. But we really can't make it through like any period of time without losing players to injury at the moment. So let's head on forwards. We'll use that friendly again for the players on the fringes so we can kind of keep them fit. Better than AC Moneyball. It is a lot better than AC Moneyball. It's amazing what happens when you don't stick to a foolish system that doesn't work. You're not going to get loads of people unfollow just for the sake of the joke. Quite possibly. I mean, looking at now, it's plummeting as a result. It's plummeting faster than you can say. Plummeting? I don't know. I'm sorry, Llama. I'll just leave now. Don't leave, Zeep. Don't leave. You're loved here. Ignore that mean rummy supporting man. So Ladislav, any tips to cut a 43-man squad down to 44? I'm guessing you meant 24, maybe? Is that sounds like a number for a squad? 34? No one wants my players and they don't want to leave. Well, I think at that time it's time to choose which of the players that you want to leave aren't going to contribute. The best tip for cutting a squad down is to focus on the players that are best. You should have a reasonable idea of those who are your favourites and that you like and that you think you can build around. Make sure that you have enough players to cover the positions you need. When you're in that situation where your squad is far too big, it doesn't really matter about who you can sell, because if no one's coming in for them, you're still going to have plenty of players in the reserves and not playing. Just take the Chelsea approach and just chuck a bunch of them within the reserves. Hey, we didn't make it through the week without an injury. Here comes Hussein Usman. Suleiman is now out for 6 days. Right, so Hatut is kind of back in contention, so that's cool. Let's have a look at who we can bring on to play those roles. Let's have a look at Ajala out on the wing. We will look at Nunes can stay up front. Primus and advance forward in this game. Kereke can come in for Fonsel. Leon Anson can come in for Dahlstrom. No, he can't. Enquist can come in. It's very much all about player fitness here rather than who's necessarily the best players for this game. It's a friendly. I don't really worry too much about the result. And so our bench, I don't want them to bring Dahlstrom on, right? So I don't want them to bring Reed on because we're struggling for players in attacking positions. Suleiman is far too far away, so those are going to be the players that will... in fact, we're just going to have the 3 outfield substitutions for this. And we're going to leave this to our assistant manager. So let them do their thing. Andrew, good evening, sir. How are you? I do apologise. I am late on the draw there. Lovely to see you. Ladislav, you meant 22 indeed. I mean, this, yeah, that still stays this. FM Llama stay. I don't like Sutton and Savage anyway. Nobody likes Sutton and Savage. I struggle to believe there is a single person out there who listens to them because they like them. They might listen out of desire for rage bait for sure. You know, they want to hear the ridiculous things that they have to say and then get worked up by it. But you can't surely have people actually liking Chris Sutton or Robbie Savage. Pascali Salonen did fine, but it's against a team that doesn't really offer any competition. There we go. We made it through the game unharmed. That's the important thing. And now we can move forward to the last game of the group stage of the League Cup. You've twisted my arm, Llama. Good. Glad to hear you're saying Z. Chris, or just keep playing Anthony every week like United do. It is it's the sunk cost fallacy, isn't it? Once you've spent that much and you've done it, you want to keep on giving it a try just to prove that it can work. Pray that Saudi comes in for your players. That is a good idea. That is the best way to do it, is to make sure that somehow you've got the quick dial number to Al Ali or Il Etifak. Maybe give Steven Gerrard a bell and hope that they'll eventually come your way. 25 in your first team squad is the max size for me. Yeah, so I'll be honest, I prefer a much smaller squad. I prefer a squad size of around 18 senior players and then young players to kind of fill those gaps. So I like a first 11. I then like having a substitute goalkeeper and then like 6 subs who are all players who can play multiple positions, so that you've got this flexibility to move around and deal with any injuries or rest that's needed in a way that means you can manage players' time without them getting annoyed that they're not playing enough. And then when you really, really get desperate, you have the young players that you can throw in, or if you've got young players who are, really, really high prospects, you can then introduce here and there. I resist the urge to keep signing wonder kids. Likewise. Sutton and Savage sound like a bad brand of restaurant pubs. Sounds like like a little bit like an O'Neill's type of feeling. So it would be, it serves food because pubs need to serve food nowadays, but it's mainly there for you to drink Guinness. That's what it sounds like to me anyway. Or a dodgy law firm. Dodgy is definitely fair. And here comes more people out. Patu is ill. Fonsel is out for 3 weeks with a virus. Now the staffing, we are going to leave the staffing up to our technical director. But I do worry that we don't have the medical team. You can't do much about a virus. You can't do much about a cold. But my word, this has been a pretty vicious start in terms of injuries. So Sid is not quite ready. So that means we're going with Lundberg as the target forward. And we're going with Larson as the inside forward. Got the attacking midfielder there. We've got those instructions on him. We're going to go back to countering because we're up against a very good team and into Turku. There is Salonen. Salonen's being pushed into the forward positions. So, right, Olawale's there. Salonen will have to come. Actually, no, we'll leave Salonen in there. We'll start Ajala Salonen scored 4 times, even if it was a silly little friendly. Suleiman, Dahlstrom, Reed are on the bench. That means we're naming only 7 players. Inquist comes out. In comes Dahlstrom. Kerake and Ajala is our new midfield pairing. That does scare me a little bit. Does scare me more than a little bit. It scares me quite a lot. So here are our options. We've got Suleiman. He's kind of got some pace. He's brave. He's aggressive. He will try and get stuck in, even if he's not a good tackler. And sometimes effort is what matters most. Kerake can tackle, but he doesn't have that aggression. He's also quite slow off the mark. He's okay on the ball. Patu just come back from injury. He's got the aggression and the positioning, which I quite like, and the passing, and kind of a mixture in terms of his physical profile. I have a feeling it's going to be... We'll stick with the Kerake. I have a feeling it's going to be quite a challenge nonetheless. So here we go, into Turku. Finish off the group stage. We will have a quick check at what the table is like, see what we need. Can we still make it through with a win? Let's do 4 minutes of stoppage time. We're close then, we're close. I like my squad like Ponte de Lanza on Twitter. Yeah, my 25-man squad includes youngsters, not all starters. Nice. Slug and Lettuce could do a better job of hosting 606. They really could. I mean, literally, not the company behind. Who is the company? They run loads and loads of other pub brands as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. But a literal slug and a piece of lettuce could do a better job of hosting 606. I mean, lettuce is all the rage after it outstayed the premiership of Liz Truss. Maybe we should be giving lettuce its own radio show. San Marino, do the double. It's come through. There we go. Also, Robertson with the 93rd minute goal, 2-1 up against Poland. Poland had pulled back against Scotland, but 93rd minute. My word. Right. We are still technically in a decent position. We are well, not technically, we are in a good position. Ekenas are top, so maybe we should be happy that we drew against them. We're second with 6 points. HJK and Kyrgyzstan can both finish above us. So HJK have an away game against Lati, who haven't won a game yet. And Kyrgyzstan will obviously be playing Ekenas by that extension, but they do have a home game. So I feel like we need to win to make it through. Inter Turku haven't had a great time of it. They haven't won a game yet either. So this is almost guaranteed to be their win. So there we go, we're looking at inverted wingback and inverted fullback, 2 wingers, a Mazzala pressing forward. That looks to me like quite a defensive setting, so maybe counter-attacking isn't the best choice, but we'll go with it, see what happens. And again, if we need to adjust, we'll adjust probably at half-time like normal. So sorry Ladislav, you know who you want to keep and sell? You don't know how to get rid, not even say you want my lot. Sometimes you kind of have to accept that there will be nobody forthcoming. If you've got those options out there to use the intermediary, you've got the options of speaking to the agent. If those things don't drum up interest and you're constantly dropping your price, you're kind of going to have to accept that you're probably not going to shift them. And you're going to have to see them wait out their contract, or potentially even let them go on a free transfer. Sometimes, if you have to, you might need to try and convince them to terminate their contract. Right, something about their fans being up for this match. That does look like as Jonsas was saying earlier, that this might be as close to a derby as they get. So pump fists, there we go. Won't let me do outstretched arms, but it will let me pump my fists. Right, straight from the kickoff, we've got a highlight. I never like any highlights. Let's be fair. The reality is that I just want us magically to score goals without having to worry about any of the stress that comes with watching what happens during the game. So early exchanges, they've had a lot of the ball. They've had an obscene amount of the ball. We've had the only 2 chances, and they don't seem to be particularly good chances either. So they're not pushed particularly high, but here we go. Like Niska into Seiju. Kekarainen is able to work some space, but Reitinen gets it clear. Right, Derek on the edge of the area. Karake makes the challenge. Larson now, chance to carry. Drives into the space. Lundberg. Can we get the reverse pass? It'd be difficult here. He moves all the way back to Alawale. What a highlight. What a highlight. So here we go. Smith now drives it out to Niska. Here comes the cross, Tamminen at the far post, and that's 1-0 into Turku, about to get their first win of the League Cup. There we go. Normal services resumed. They've had so much of the ball, but we can see it's mainly deep. And then we've had those throw-ins seem to be how they've advanced the balls down the flanks. Tamminen there. Dahlstrom absolutely nowhere near it, but that should be Alvinen's position. That the far post is where Alvinen should be marking. He's up on Järvinen. That allows Tamminen to get in behind. Dahlstrom never had a hope. That's the one shot, 1 goal. Right, here we go. Can we respond immediately? Alvinen plays it into a Karake. Karake gives it away. Seiju. It's scrappy, that's for sure, but here's Ajala. Ajala takes a shot from distance, harmlessly over the bar. Okay, only another minute has passed. We've got a throw in this time. Alvinen plays it in. Larson kicks it straight at the keeper.
Adam Larson.
Adam Larson. There we go. What an awful, awful goal. The keeper should have saved that, but we will take it. We will take it, and no complaints whatsoever. 16% possession at 25 minutes is not a lot. It is not a lot. But it seemed, so we saw that they had inverted wing back, an inside inverted fullback. And there's Lundberg, Arvid Lundberg gets his first ever goal for IFK Mariehamn. Boom, there's the turnaround. I think both highlights have started from a throw-in. Right, Okereke with the cross, Lundberg at the far post, back across the keeper. A lovely, lovely header. What was I saying? I can't remember what I was saying. Who cares? We're doing all right. Yeah, sorry. Inverted wing back, inside fullback. They have a defensive midfielder and a central midfielder. So really, attacking-wise, they've only got the 2 wingers, the pressing forward and the Mazzala. So they've got the ball in deep. We know they're going to have the ball deep. And we're going to be counter-attacking, so yeah, 16% possession at 25 minutes was extreme, but as we can see, we're starting to warm into it, and we're making our progress, which is what we want. Matty142, thank you very much for the follow. How are you? So San Marino won and promoted tonight. Yes, we've been talking about it. 3-1, incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible stuff. Did a save with Mariehamn on FM23. Lundberg had really good potential. Finished national at 20. That's good to hear, Philip. So, like both Lundberg and Villa Nunes both look to be players with good potential, and I think that, well, realistically, with the size of our squad and the transfer window being closed, we're going to have to rely on them as it is anyway in these early exchanges. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Lundberg. In these opening games, he's been brilliant for us. It was a gorgeous header. That spin header, though, absolutely beautiful stuff. I am pleased to say that Arvid Lundberg has probably become our starting striker. I'm liking the way that we have Larson off the left. I think when Sid is back from injury, we might consider him as the attacking midfielder instead and look to do things just a little bit differently with how we approach that area. Yeah, some really, really nice things we're seeing here. We've got there, Salin struggled a little bit behind the striker, but he has won the ball back a couple of times up high, and that's quite helpful when we're otherwise in a mid-block. But here we go, here's Brockman. He's got loads of space, plays it out to Järvinen, who also has loads of space. 0 marking on the box. My word, there we go. Let's time to ring the changes, I reckon. And that is going to be the end of Salinen's. and the Jalas. On comes Leon Anderson. Let's not do that. Let's do Enquist. Here's a thing, and we'll ask Dahlstrom to be the creative one there. In that respect, he's not the greatest going forward, but he's okay at it. And we are just going to start to maybe look to try and kill the game a little here. There we go. By the way, I do apologise for it. Dan007, Spirito, Juve, and Isabels. Thank you very much for the follows. I hope you're all very well this evening. Scotland, you say? Eyes. Does that mean Scotland have conceded? Have Portugal scored yet another late goal? Is it Cristiano Ronaldo? That would be disgraceful. No, can't do that again. Here's Larson. He's through on goal. That's got to be. It's not a great save from Hootanen, but you feel like Larson should have put that one away. Altonen has come on for Sejdu. They've changed to a back five. That's an interesting way to attack the last few moments. And then they get it clear with Derek. Here's Kranic. Chance to counter-attack now. Dahlstrom can't make the block. Akereke does get the header in. Olawale back to Derek. Niska tries to play. Great defending from Olawale. Olawale, as a right back, has been okay. Seems like a crazy thing to say. So here come the last couple of changes. Suleiman's coming on. And Willie Nunes will replace Nürnberg. And we've got him as a pressing forward in this respect. There we go. Trust you guys to make the difference. Into the last 10 minutes. This will guarantee our place in the next round of the League Cup, which is incredible when you consider we were up against 3 of the best 4 teams in the league. And Dahlstrom crosses it in. Machado. Oh, another great save. Another great save. RJ says 70% possession and 1 shot on target. Is that Spain's strikerless tactic? It's my AC Moneyball tactic. Lots of the ball, absolutely zero penetration. Would like a. I know we've only got 2 minutes left. I know we are very, very close to the end of this game, but I would like us just to maybe get a third. Let's wrap it up. Let's make things comfortable. Not have to worry about these last couple of moments. Right, 18 seconds left. And our throw-in gives it straight back into Turku. Here's Kutanen. He's going to play it forward to Kranic. Chance now. Parasalo out wide. Again, their play is behind, but here's Rockman, and that should have been the equaliser. Oh, he was offside. Oh, he wasn't offside. The right wing was offside. There we go. That'll do nicely. A game with a combined XG of 1.1 between the two teams. Just the 12 shots, 6 on target, 5 of them were from us. Some great saves from their goalkeeper. Hootanen made brilliant saves from both Larson and Machado. Arvid Lundberg gets his first goal. How about that? So, who will be joining us? Did Ekenas won their game? That keeps them on top. And we'll have a look to see who that means we've got in the semi-final. Isabel's, hi, I'm a big fan of your work. Thank you very much, Isabel's. Really, really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the streams as well. We'll be streaming this week. We'll be streaming tonight, obviously, tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, all at 7 p.m. British Summer Time. So I'd love to see you along for others. And obviously, if you want to lurk, if you want to chat, please do. We are actually pretty much coming to the end of the stream for tonight, I'm afraid. Seems like a good point to end it once we've just finished the group stage. For those that watch my streams regularly, you'll be aware that the idea of getting through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a stream is pretty damn impressive. We've moved at one hell of a pace, and we have got ourselves through. We're going to be playing against Ilves. As I was going to St. Ilves, I met a man with 7 Wilves. They're expected to finish that, so they're the other good team in the league. And that's not bad. Well, our results against Lahti, we drew away from home. We beat HJK, we beat Into Turku. We've started off pretty damn well. So I'm quite delighted with that. Thank you, that's cool. No worries at all. RJ, looks like the counter is our tactic this season. It most definitely does. I think we've settled on a style and a way that's going to suit us. We've still got some things to tweak, but we're looking pretty damn tidy right now. The slightly offset 3-4-3 with our defensive midfielder being used as an inverted wingback to run play from deep areas. Larson is I'm loving the change to the inside forward. I think Larson is going to be an absolute revelation there. And we just need to possibly see how Robin Sid does when he gets back. So let's just do a quick recap on what's happened on the stream. Let's head on over to this. I'd like to say a huge thank you to a whole load of you. We've had... I got lost already. We started off the stream with redeems on the Only Connect and Guess the Player before we'd even started. Huge thank you to RJ, the wonderful RJ, the wonderful hung them in as well. Push the 88, Largy 24, Macaulay, Jarvis, Jeff Badman, Mr. Badman is your dad, FM Ramster, The Goocher, Marados 10, Hinu 78, Real Betis, Kismoo, Andy Puffer, all coming through the flows. Katagaros, Captain Zeep, Matty 142, Danzera07, Spirito, Juve, and Isabel's, all with the follows in the last half hour as well. Lovely to have you guys on board. And then we cannot forget Catch 22er, Mr. Teeny, and that wonderful Mr. Badman again, Jeff Badman, with the subscriptions tonight. You guys have all been fantastic. I feel so bad. Malteser Falcon, Chris, you're in. Lovely to see you just as we're leaving. And Super Novalia also just joined the stream. Will I share recording this? So the VODs will be up on Twitch for the regular length they are. I think it's 2 weeks, but they are over on the live tab on YouTube. So this is dual streamed both to Twitch and YouTube. You will be able to see all the VODs over on YouTube at any time whatsoever. So I'd like to say, again, a huge thank you to everyone. We're going to head on over. Let's see who we can raid this evening. If you do have any recommendations, do let us know. Take care, console. Streams beginning to pop off. I'm amazed that people stick around for the absolute madness, and then just as we're ending it, people come in. It's the way it is. But I'm so glad to see you guys, and yeah, hopefully we'll catch up on another evening. I will be back tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. British summertime. I don't have any NFL on afterwards, so maybe we can go a little bit longer. I don't need a nap. So who shall we go on over and see? We've got this lovely little browsery thing. Come on up, and I can scroll through. Can we? By now, I should have worked out how all this malarkey works, and I really haven't. But who have we got? There's a few people I don't know coming up at the top. We have Sai. We did pop over to Sai the other week, though, so maybe see if we can send over to someone else. Do you know what? Let's head on over to Big Robbo. Big Robbo is competing in the match of the delay. Absolutely fantastic. Obviously, quite one of the big boys. So it's a bit weird for us to be sending over to the boys, but I don't think we've ever been over there. I don't think I've ever interacted with Big Robbo at all. So it's a chance to say hello. Go and send your love. I hope you guys will be happy to come along and join. I will then be shooting off probably after 5 minutes, so I can have that nap. But it looks interesting. He's there doing the Sir Alex Ferguson challenge. We can find out how things are going. Thank you once again. Good night.